Chapter 2319. The White Fox Tribe's Number 1 Fox. 1. After hearing Lung Ruakshu's words, Old Leopard's heart that had been hanging in the air finally settled down. In reality, when the conflict between Lung Ruakshu and the magical beasts first appeared, the Old Leopard, who thought he understood Lung Ruakshu's character, did not believe the rumors outside. Although many magical beasts had made their statements, the Leopard clan had not made any moves. He had even secretly sent his clansmen to the land of demons to ask Lung Ruakshu about the situation. However, at that time, Lung Ruakshu seemed to be in closed-door cultivation. The people he sent were too embarrassed to ask Uncle Long and the others, so they asked the magical beasts in the land of demons. They learned that those magical beasts had firmly chosen to stand on Lung Ruakshu's side. The Leopard clan that Old Leopard was in also secretly made up their mind to support Lung Ruakshu. The members of the Leopard clan believed in their judgment of people. Their junior leopard was indebted to Lung Ruakshu, and she was a trustworthy human. Hence, they naturally chose Lung Ruakshu. However, at that time, the Leopard clan did not appear to be too close to Lung Ruakshu and the others. However, in private, it had sent many of its clansmen to the land of demons. Even though the Leopard clan's clansmen did not visit Lung Ruakshu and the others every time they came to the land of demons, their private interactions with the magical beasts in the land of demons were still discovered by the other magical beasts. With this discovery, the days of Old Leopard and the rest of the Leopard tribe became much harder. In addition, the Leopard clan did not issue any joint statement regarding Lung Ruakshu's previous attack on the magical beasts. This was also why some of the magical beasts who had long disliked them treated them as aliens. They would even throw dirty water on them from time to time, saying that they were in cahoots with Lung Ruakshu. They said that they were traitors of the beast race. All right, it admitted that they were on Lung Ruakshu's side. However, the Leopard clan had always been careful in their actions. Yet, some of the beast clans who had a grudge with the Leopard clan had discovered some clues. This fact made the Old Leopard rather depressed. However, it also knew that there was no concrete evidence for the words that the other party had spread. It was estimated that they had found out that they had gone to the land of evil demons, so they had added some embellishments and said some things that were not beneficial to the Leopard clan. However, even if these words were largely watered down, it still had a significant impact on the Leopard clan's life. This was especially so in their previous territory. The neighboring magical beasts had now joined forces to ostracize them. The Leopard tribe's tribesmen were attacked by other magical beasts from time to time, and they were even scolded as traitors of the magical beasts. Every day, they would be cursed at and attacked as scheduled. As time passed, the Leopard tribe finally could no longer stay in their original territory. In fact, according to the Old Leopard's original intention, the more those beasts ostracized them, the more they should live there. After all, the Leopard clan had been operating there for tens of millions of years, and it was their home. No matter how good other places were, the meaning to them was different. However, the adult leopards could bear it, but the little guys in the clan could not. Hence, Old Leopard, who had no intention of seeking shelter with Lung Ruakshu, could only thicken his skin and come over. At least, the beasts in the land of evil demons were friendly to them. Seeing that they intended to settle down in the land of evil demons, the forces of the beast race in the land of evil demons showed unprecedented enthusiasm and even enthusiastically helped them build a residence. This also made Old Leopard, who had been worried that he would not be welcomed before coming, completely relieved. Now that he saw that Lung Ruakshu also welcomed them, Old Leopard naturally felt more at ease. It was very clear about the position that this little girl, Lung Ruakshu, held in the hearts of the magical beasts in the Devil's Land. Thinking of this, Old Leopard said with embarrassment, "Little Shwe, our leopard tribe didn't plan to come here at first. We'll stay in our original territory so that we can know in advance if there's any sign of trouble in the beast tribe and send you a message. However, now that the leopard tribe has been ostracized, we can't stay here any longer, especially the junior leopards in the tribe who are bullied every day. So, we have no choice but to go along with their wishes and confirm our reputation as traitors of the beast tribe by coming to the devil's land. The old leopard explained. The members of the leopard clan were too honest and were not suitable to be spies. Otherwise, they would not have been bullied and left their hometown. Thanks hearing this, Lung Ruashue smiled and consoled. Patriarch Bao, how can you be traitors? The real betrayer of the magical beasts should be the ones who have ostracized you. What? When old leopard heard Lung Ruakshu's words, he could not help but widen his leopard eyes. Its ability to understand was a little poor, so it didn't understand what this little girl meant. Have you guys heard about my bounty? Lung Ruashue asked, pretending to be mysterious. Well, who wouldn't know about such a big thing? The old leopard nodded his head in a daze. His eyes were filled with admiration as he looked at Lung Ruashue. She was Master Yes disciple. What noble status! Since you've heard about it, you naturally know my identity. Tell me, who were the beasts loyal to in the past? Lung Ruashue asked. Of course it's Master You. Lord Yes' position in the hearts of the beast clans is irreplaceable. Yes, Master, Old Leopard said with excitement on his face. Since that's the case, then isn't it only natural for you to be on good terms with me? Don't forget, I'm Master Yes disciple. That's why you're not traitors to the Beast Clan. The Beast Clan's traitors are those who betrayed Master and went against me. Lung Ruashue reminded him with an evil smile. That's right. Our Leopard Clan is not a traitor to the Beast Clan. The real traitors are those who went against you, little girl, and slandered you. When the old leopard heard this, he immediately echoed loudly in a high-spirited manner. But then he became listless again and said in a pitiful voice, Little girl, what's the use of saying that we're not traitors of the Beast Clan? In the eyes of many beasts with ulterior motives, or those who don't know the truth, we are still traitors. Old Leopard was very reluctant to admit this fact, but this world was where the strong were respected. Even if Lung Ruashue was Master Yes disciple, the Beast Clan did not acknowledge that. In fact, in the hearts of many Beast Clans, Master You is Master You, and Lung Ruashue was Lung Ruashue. There was no relationship between them at all. Of course, unless Lung Ruashue was able to display a power that would make all the other beasts fear her, or gain the approval of the 4 great beast kings, it would be difficult for Lung Ruakshu's identity to be acknowledged. Oh, really? If that's the case, it looks like we can only use special methods to confirm that they're the traitors. After thinking for a while, Lung Ruashue said coldly. A cold light flickered in her eyes, which made Old Leopard's heart jump and his little heart tremble. What was this little girl trying to do? Although he felt a little uneasy, Old Leopard still gathered his courage and asked, Little girl, what do you mean? Subdue them. Those who are willing to surrender, I welcome them. Those who aren't willing to surrender, I'll use force to suppress them. Let's start with the original territory of your leopard tribe. Lung Ruashue said calmly, Didn't you say you were traitors? I'll let them see who the traitor is. Who will be the beastie who laughs last? Lung Ruashue added. Chapter 2320. The White Fox Tribe's number 1 beauty. 2. Hearing these words, Old Leopard immediately broke out in a cold sweat. His heart trembled more, and his legs became a little soft. This girl was going to start a war. For some reason, the Old Leopard pitted those beasts who wanted to go against Lung Ruashue. At the same time, he was glad that he was wise enough to cling onto Lung Ruashue. Otherwise, if they really fought, the combat power of Lung Ruashue and the others was not to be underestimated. After glancing at Uncle Long and the others, Old Leopard's heart was strangely calm. It seemed that he still had to train. Look at all the people and beasts present. None of them had heard Lung Ruakshu's words and acted like a bear. All of them were calm and collected. He forced himself to calm down. After taking a few deep breaths, he slowly said that, in my original territory, the most powerful beast clan was the Fox clan. Even though the Fox tribe is not as strong as us in terms of fighting power, they are too cunning. Honest beasts like us are not their match. To put it bluntly, the other party used their wisdom, while they were too lazy to play tricks. Therefore, they relied on brute force. Fox clan, The snow fox tribe? Lung Rawashua asked with great interest. If she did not remember wrongly, it seemed that the beastie on her side had a grudge with the snow fox tribe. However, she had been very busy ever since she came to the divine world. Hence, she did not have the time to make a trip to the snow fox tribe. Now, it seemed like this was a good opportunity to settle some of the grudges on her side. No, it's the White Fox clan, the old leopard quickly explained. Then, afraid that Lung Rawashu did not understand, he added, the status of the snow fox tribe in the divine realm is very high, second only to the dragon tribe, the phoenix tribe, the white tiger tribe, and the Chelan tribe. How could they possibly live in that little broken-down place of ours? Where do they live? Lung Rawashua blinked her eyes and asked curiously. The snow fox tribe loves the cold. Their base is located on the largest snow mountain in the immortal realm, the Longevity Mountain. They are neighbors with the white tiger tribe. The snow fox tribe is also a vassal of the white tiger tribe. Old Leopard explained. A vassal of the white tiger race? Didn't the snow fox tribe have a very high status in the divine realm? He actually became someone else's subordinate? Chief Leopard, are your words watered down? Lung Rawashu asked with a look of disbelief. No, I didn't. It was absolutely true. Right now, the snow fox tribe is indeed a vassal of the white tiger tribe. This isn't a secret at all in the immortal realm. Otherwise, the white tiger tribe would have long chased them out of the Longevity Mountain. Old Leopard said with certainty. So the snow fox tribe is very weak now. Lung Rawakshu's eyes narrowed as she continued to ask. How should he put it? It cannot be said to be very weak. However, the most important royal bloodline in the snow fox tribe was the purple-eyed snow fox. However, ever since the previous fox king passed away, there were no more purple-eyed snow foxes in the snow fox tribe. Furthermore, the current fox king's bloodline was not pure, and he was unable to cultivate the fox tribe's techniques to the highest level. Naturally, he was unable to restore the glory of the snow fox tribe in ancient times. As a result, the status of the entire divine realm's fox tribe had declined. He was the current king of the snow fox tribe. They even became the white tiger race's vassals. Old Leopard said, unhappily. Becoming a vassal of the beast clan and acknowledging a human as their master were two different things. Thanks acknowledging a human as its master meant that it had acknowledged a human, and that human must have something extraordinary about him. However, in a situation where everyone was a magical beast, if they became a vassal of a magical beast, it would mean that a certain magical beast had completely abandoned its dignity and become a lackey of its own kind. Such a magical beast race did not have the pride of a magical beast race to speak of. Naturally, they would not receive the respect of other magical beasts. However, in the current divine realm, there are definitely many magical beasts who chose to become a vassal of a powerful beast for the sake of survival. Therefore, this trend seemed to be the general trend. Under the situation where everyone did that, there would be no distinction between who looked down on who. For some magical beasts who were unwilling to rely on the powerful, they would retain their dignity. But at the same time, their days in the divine realm would become more and more difficult, and they would be bullied and ostracized. However, no matter what the result was, it was the choice of each magical beast. Are purple-eyed snow foxes only important to the snow fox race? Lung Rawashua couldn't help but ask after hearing what Old Leopard said. The snow fox is the king of the fox clan. The purple-eyed snow fox is of utmost importance to the entire fox clan. However, the current fox clan does not have any purple-eyed snow fox at all. Therefore, the fox clan has naturally declined. The old leopard was very patient, but when he saw the little fox in Lung Rawakshu's arms, his round leopard eyes instantly widened. The old leopard pointed his paw at the small and cute little fox in Lung Rawakshu's arms. It was snow white without a trace of mixed colors. He stammered and could not complete a sentence for a long time. Fuck, what was this? It had just said that there were no purple-eyed snow foxes in the snow fox tribe, and this little girl had already created one for it. Was she trying to test the endurance of its heart? All right, this girl had one. Seeing this tiny, palm-sized, purple-eyed snow fox, The old leopard's heart had indeed been tested like never before. May, say hello to the leopard tribe leader. Lung Ruashue glanced at the petrified old leopard and said with a face full of sympathy, "AI, she's just a little fox. Was there need to be so surprised?" Lung Ruashue couldn't help but mutter to herself. However, it was a good thing that old leopard did not know Lung Ruakshu's inner thoughts. Otherwise, he would be depressed to death. What did he mean by, "Isn't she just a little fox?" "The one you're carrying in your arms is a purple-eyed snow fox, all right?" That was the natural king of the fox race. He could command the entire fox race. More importantly, ever since the previous fox king had fallen in the divine realm, no purple-eyed snow fox had appeared. Therefore, it was impossible not to be surprised. "Hello, I'm May." The May spoke very obediently. In fact, it knew the old leopard, but the old leopard had never seen it before. "Hello." The old leopard was still stammering, but he was obviously calmer than before. However, his eyes were full of curiosity as he stared at the May, without blinking. His eyes were full of surprise. The May was a little scared by the old leopard's stare and could not help but shrink into Lung Ruakshu's arms. She could not help but send a voice transmission to her master. "Master, the way this old leopard looks at me is too scary. It better not have any thoughts about me. Otherwise, I won't let it go." It was not joking. However, when Lung Ruashu heard the mice words, she couldn't help but smile indifferently and said, "You're thinking too much. It was just too surprised by your species. What's so surprising about my breed? It's so rare to see." Mei Ran transmitted her voice to Lung Ruashue with dissatisfaction. Her cute little face gradually fell, and she was about to explode. However, at this moment, old leopard retracted his gaze. Chapter 23-21. The White Fox Tribe's #1 Beauty. 3. Little girl, is this little fox yours? Old leopard confirmed. Yes. Lung Ruashue nodded. Do you want it to be the Fox King? Old leopard asked excitedly. Of course, May will be the future king of our fox race. Before Lung Ruashue could reply, another furious voice rang in old leopard's ears. Then, a huge snow-white figure appeared in front of everyone. You are looking at the huge snow fox in front of him, the old leopard asked hesitantly. The snow fox looked familiar, but he could not remember where he had seen it. Snow Shadow. Shuang glanced at the old leopard and said arrogantly. However, there was a small footprint on its snow-white fur, which destroyed its unattainable feeling and made it look a little funny. Shuang. Old leopard repeated the name and frowned. The name was so familiar. Suddenly, he had a flash of inspiration and shouted, "Arg! Snow Shadow, isn't Shuang the traitor of the Fox clan who was once wanted by the Fox King? You are the traitor? Your entire family is a traitor." Upon hearing this, Shuang was unhappy and shouted back, In the eyes of other beastie, my family is indeed a traitor. However, you've been wanted by the Fox clan throughout the divine realm. I didn't expect that you'd actually be hiding at this little girl's place." The old leopard exclaimed. Could he say that this place was a shelter for traitors? Who's hiding? I'm here in broad daylight, okay? Although the old leopard's tone of voice made Shuang a little unhappy, he still gave Lung Ruashu a face and did not cause trouble for the old leopard on the spot. All right then. Looking at Snow Shadow's reaction, the old leopard wisely did not argue with it about this matter. Anyway, everyone knew it in their hearts. There was no need to be too jumpy. Seeing that he had won against old leopard, Shuang turned to Lung Ruashue and said, "Shui May will definitely become the king of our fox race. Let's immediately set off to challenge the fox race." Upon hearing this, old leopard, Lung Ruashue, and the rest fell silent. Lung Ruashue and the rest were thinking that even if they wanted to challenge the Fox clan, they had to make some preparations first. On the other hand, old leopard's thinking was more pragmatic. He was afraid that it would not be completed in a short time if he wanted to challenge the Fox tribe. After all, the White Tiger tribe was still there to carry the burden, unless they could take on the White Tiger race as well. However, that would be extremely difficult. One must know that the White Tiger race was one of the 4 great beast kings, and those 4 great beast kings had always been on good terms. If the four of them were to join forces, even if Lung Ruoxue and the rest were heaven-defying, it would still take time to take care of them. This was not something that could be achieved in a short period of time. However, looking at Shui Ying's reaction, he seemed to be in a hurry, as if the fox tribe would be his in the blink of an eye. Was it that simple? The old leopard did not agree with Shui Ying's impatient temperament. However, he did not say much, in case this bad-tempered snow fox would vent its anger on him again. Anyway, he was just a bystander, so he would let the little girl worry about these things. Just as he was thinking about this, he heard Lung Ruoxue's voice. It's not impossible to pick a fight with the Fox clan, but I have to make preparations first. Give me some time. Well, leave the day after tomorrow. After hearing this, Old Leopard continued to be silent. In fact, it was more suspicious that it had heard wrong. The day after tomorrow, they would set off to pick the Fox tribe? What could he prepare in less than 2 days? However, looking at everyone's confident expressions, it felt that it was better not to spoil the mood. Otherwise, it might cause public anger. In this way, 2 days passed by in the curiosity of the old leopard. However, during this time, the old leopard's questions were not answered. Instead, it made the old leopard's heart itch more as if a kitten lived in it. Faced with the old leopard's eager eyes, no kind person was willing to answer his questions. Besides, everyone in the house was so busy that their feet didn't even touch the ground. Only he thought that he was so free that his balls hurt. Otherwise, he wouldn't have let his thoughts run wild. Then, Lung Ruoxue told Old Leopard that they could set off. The old leopard was still in a daze as Lung Ruoxue and the rest led him on the road. Their destination was, of course, his previous territory, Floating Cloud Mountain. The Floating Cloud Mountain was not too far away from the land of the evil demons. If they did not teleport, they would be able to reach there in 2 days. Hence, Lung Ruoxue and the others had already arrived after a long journey. In the heart of Old Leopard, the doubts were getting heavier and heavier. Were they on vacation or travel? Thanks, why couldn't it feel the tension before the battle? Or could it be that it was too agitated? Old Leopard was very depressed. The consequences were very serious. The price of this result was that while the others talked and laughed along the way, it remained silent. When they finally arrived at the Floating Cloud Mountain, Old Leopard finally saw a trace of excitement on his face. I didn't expect to revisit an old place so soon. Old Leopard sighed. Hearing this, Lung Ruoxue couldn't help but raise her beautiful eyes and asked indifferently, "Leopard Chief, is this the Floating Clouds Mountain?" "Yup, it's beautiful here, right?" The old leopard said proudly. "It's beautiful, but where's the mountain?" Lung Ruoxue asked speechlessly. She looked around and saw a dense forest made up of huge, lush trees. There were also a few clear streams flowing out from the forest. However, she could not see any mountains. It's been too long, and the mountain has long disappeared. The old leopard blushed and said embarrassedly, "There used to be a mountain here, but after living here for a long time, the tall mountain had become a small slope. Besides, there were many species of beasts living here, many of which were famous for their violence. The strong mountain couldn't withstand the long-term battles." Hearing this, Lung Ruoxue blinked her beautiful eyes and didn't say anything. She only fixed her gaze on the red-faced old leopard. "I'm telling the truth." Seeing this, the old leopard was so aggrieved that he almost raised his paw to swear. "All right then." Lung Ruoxue sighed helplessly. Even if there were mountains here in the past, they wouldn't have been that big. She didn't want to talk about whether there was a mountain, so she said directly, "Let's enter the forest. Leopard clan leader, lead the way. And, little girl, where are we going first? There are many types of beasts here, and many of them are quite powerful." Old Leopard asked, "Let's go to the white fox race first." Lung Ruoxue ordered. "All right." The old leopard nodded. The white fox tribe had a very high status in the Floating Cloud Mountain. If they were to incorporate the white fox tribe first, it would make many other beasts feel intimidated. Thinking of this, it was in a good mood, and its steps were a little light. Hee. The white fox race had played an important role in its expulsion from the Floating Cloud Mountain. Now, this old leopard had returned with a bear-like and high-spirited look. That Why did it feel like it was exhaling its pride, like a fox exploiting a tiger's might? Although he thought this way, Old Leopard's pace did not slow down at all. The news of their group entering the floating clouds mountain spread like wings to all the beasts living in the floating clouds mountain. Within the white fox race, a huge snow-white fox was lying on a green stone slab, enjoying the warm sunlight. When it heard the report from the fox tribe, the snow-white fox lazily closed its eyes and asked, "You said that the old leopard is back. You even brought some humans?" "Yes. Clan leader, those guys are coming in our direction. According to my guess, Old Leopard must have found some helpers and come back for revenge." The little fox reported with a face full of worry. "Revenge? Oh, it was not impossible. However, I'm more interested in the background of those humans. You can go and investigate." The enormous white fox instructed, "Clan leader, there's a human woman among those people. She looks a little like Lung Ruoshue from the video." The little fox thought for a moment and decided to report the truth. "Lung Ruoshue? Are you sure?" The huge white fox squinted its eyes and laughed wildly in its heart. "Old Leopard, you can't blame others for calling you a traitor now, can you? You are the one who brought Lung Ruoshue back." "Yes." The little fox nodded her head. Seeing this, the huge snow fox immediately got up and instructed the little fox, "Go and inform the clansmen that we have a guest. Ask them to come with me to welcome her. Oh, right. Also spread the news that Lung Ruoshue has come to the floating cloud mountain. I believe that many people and beasts will be interested in her news." The little fox nodded and immediately ran away. At this time, the huge snow fox shook its snow-white long fur and took out a comb from somewhere. After combing its long fur until it was as soft and smooth as silk, it even ran to the mirror not far away and looked at it. Then it nodded in satisfaction and said with a somewhat narcissistic tone, as expected of the white fox tribe's #1 beauty, "Look at my long fur, my beauty, my bearing, which fox can compare to me?" After mumbling to himself, the narcissistic white fox tribe leader strode elegantly away from the bluestone slab she had just laid on and walked toward the main entrance with great confidence. By the time the White Fox clan leader arrived at the main entrance, the swift White Fox clan members had already formed a line, waiting for the proud White Fox clan leader to arrive. Chapter 23-22 Love at First Sight 1. When the White Fox clan leader saw this, he did not forget to nod in satisfaction at his underlings. Then, one of the White Foxes tactfully brought out a reclining chair and invited their clan leader to rest on it. "Little 3, Little 4, the old leopard and those humans are not here yet. This speed is too slow." After lying down, the White Fox clan leader asked the 2 white foxes who were serving beside her, "Not yet. Those humans are too weak and need to rest for a long time after walking a few steps. So, according to this subordinate's guess, they won't be able to arrive in a short time. Why don't King take a short nap?" A fox said with a fawning expression. What it meant by Lung Ruoshue and the rest being too weak and needing to rest after every few steps was that Lung Ruoshue and the rest were collecting herbs and admiring the scenery along the way. Therefore, it was naturally impossible for them to reach the White Fox clan's territory too quickly. Of course, they were also unaware that the White Fox clan's clan head was anxiously waiting for them. However, if Lung Ruoshue knew that the White Fox clan leader had been waiting for them anxiously, she would most likely ask, "Why are you in such a hurry? Was he in a hurry to die?" Lung Ruoshue and the rest were not in a hurry, forming a stark contrast with the White Fox clan leader's anxiety. However, the White Fox clan leader would not show it on his face. Otherwise, if the clan members knew, where would his dignity as the leader of a fox be? Therefore, after pondering for a while, the White Fox clan leader nodded and said, "Then he'll take a nap. Wake me up immediately when they arrive." Little 3 and Little 4, who were the 2 white foxes serving the White Fox clan leader, hurriedly nodded their heads. Then, the White Fox clan's foxes gathered around their clan leader and waited for Lung Ruoshue and the rest under the scorching sun. When Lung Ruoshue and the rest entered the floating clouds mountain, it was still early in the morning. That was also the time when the herbs in the forest were the freshest. Many of the herbs still had clear dewdrops on them. There were also many alchemists in their group. Hence, when they saw these herbs, it was as if they were seeing their family. Although the herbs they saw along the way were only ordinary herbs, the amount of ordinary herbs used during alchemy was often the highest. Therefore, as alchemists, Jiang Ning and the others consciously bent down to collect these amiable herbs. When the others saw this, they did not urge them to hurry up. Instead, they helped to collect as usual. However, as the guide, Old Leopard was definitely not used to this situation. Seeing everyone bending down to pull the weeds from the ground, Old Leopard was all kinds of restless. Yes, the medicinal herbs in the eyes of the crowd were like weeds in the eyes of the Old Leopard and the other beasts. They had no use at all. Therefore, it could not understand Lung Ruoxue and the others. They were not treasures. Why did they need to mobilize all of them? Wanly collecting? Could it be that these people came here to pull out the grass? Old Leopard had not forgotten the purpose of their trip, but Lung Ruoxue and the others had obviously forgotten. For a moment, the Old Leopard was extremely depressed. His face was full of sorrow. Occasionally, he would sigh and steal a glance at Lung Ruoxue and the others with his resentful eyes. However, Lung Ruoxue and the others were in the mood to collect herbs, so his expression was a waste. Thanks by the time Lung Ruoxue and the rest had collected most of the medicinal herbs along the way, the sky had already turned dark. She looked at the moon that hung shyly in the sky and heard the howls of the beasts from the forest. Lung Ruoxue asked for everyone's opinion. Should we continue or rest for the night and set off tomorrow morning? Tomorrow morning? It's dark now, and if we come across more herbs on the road, it'll be a problem to collect them. Jiang Ning was the first to express his thoughts. He was a man who was closer to herbs than to his own father. He would never allow a man to not collect herbs when he saw them, even if they were just ordinary herbs. Moreover, he had a great time collecting herbs along the way today. It should be known that he would not dare to step into a place where many beasts gathered. Even if he knew that this place had not been harvested and there were many herbs here, he would not come here for safety reasons. However, being with Lung Ruoxue and the rest today, his safety had increased greatly. Hence, he was definitely not willing to let go of such an opportunity. Furthermore, many beasts only recognized natural treasures and would not care about ordinary herbs at all. Hence, this forest had become a paradise for ordinary herbs. As an alchemist who had a greater demand for ordinary herbs, it was too difficult to make him give up after seeing what he needed. Most importantly, these herbs didn't belong to anyone. They only needed to spend some manpower and resources to collect them. As a result, Jiang Ning had completely forgotten the purpose of his visit. However, he had originally come here with the intention of watching the show, so it was normal for him to forget the main purpose. And now, collecting all the herbs he encountered along the way had become his top priority. Therefore, he insisted on resting for the night and leaving tomorrow morning. After hearing what Jiang Ning said, Old Leopard wanted to tell him that they didn't come here to pick herbs. It was a serious matter. Don't forget what you're here for, all right? However, when it saw that everyone present had nodded in agreement, it could only keep the cry in its heart back into its stomach. Although it didn't want to admit it, it wasn't worth much in the eyes of these people. After a moment of worry, Old Leopard, who had a good mentality, had no choice but to accept this fact. It seemed that it needed to get used to these people's slow pace. Old Leopard thought to himself. They rested for a night. The next morning, Lung Ruoxue and the others continued on their journey after breakfast. They still treated collecting the herbs they found along the way as a major task. Old Leopard was helpless about this, but he slowly got used to it. Later on, influenced by Lung Ruoxue and the others, Old Leopard even took the initiative to lead them to the areas with more weeds. Lung Ruoxue and the others naturally had a good harvest, but it had been more than 10 days when they arrived at the White Fox clan's territory. Standing at the edge of the White Fox tribe's territory, the Old Leopard was ashamed. It would have taken less than a day to reach the White Fox tribe's territory, but under his guidance, they had walked for more than 10 days. It was not because they had lost their way, but on purpose. Old Leopard couldn't help covering his face with his hands when he saw this. Those who didn't know would definitely think that it was so senile that it couldn't even find the White Fox tribe's territory. But in reality, it was even more wrong than Do-e. Chief Leopard, haven't we arrived at the White Fox tribe's territory? Why aren't you going in? Or do I need you to give a roar and send a message to the White Fox race? Lung Ruashua looked at Old Leopard, who was standing there in a daze, and asked with a puzzled expression. If he roared, it would be a blatant provocation, the Old Leopard said. However, they seemed to be here to provoke him. Little girl, Old Leopard said after some thought, I think we'd better go in directly. The White Fox tribe must have received news of their arrival long ago, so there was no need for them to put on an act. Chapter 23:23. Love at First Sight 2. Then let's go in. Lung Ruashua nodded. Then she gave the people around her a look, and they swaggered into the White Fox race's territory. When Old Leopard saw their vigorous and spirited appearance, his spirit was also shaken, and he quickly followed them. As they walked, they did not even see a single strand of fox fur, much less a white fox. Chief Leopard, are you sure this is the territory of the Arctic fox? Lung Ruashua asked with uncertainty. It's absolutely true. Old Leopard nodded hard. What about the white fox? If there's no white one, a black one will do too. Lung Ruashua laughed lightly as she teased. However, the Old Leopard was not as relaxed as Lung Ruashua. The absence of the white foxes could only mean one thing: all the white foxes have been summoned back to their clans to deal with them. With this thought in mind, Old Leopard's mood instantly became heavy. He said with a serious face, the white foxes have probably rushed back to the clan. They must be here to deal with us. Oh, since that's the case, let's hurry to the White Fox tribe. Don't make them wait too long. When Lung Ruashua heard this, she quickly replied, I'm afraid. I've been waiting for a long time. The Old Leopard secretly sighed. Of course, he would never say it out loud. Then he nodded and said, then let's go. Unfortunately, its wish was good, but the reality was cruel. Even though they had already arrived at the White Fox tribe's territory, Jiang Ning and the other alchemists were still unwilling to let go of the medicinal herbs along the way. Seeing this, Old Leopard's heart was beating so fast that it was as if it was scratching his heart and liver. Just like that, the group took another 3 days to reach the White Fox race's territory and their base. As for the extremely narcissistic White Fox tribe leader, she was already getting impatient. When the clan leader of the White Fox clan had been anticipating the arrival of Lung Ruashua and the others, she had been in high spirits. Her condition and aura were at their peak, as though she was a warrior who was ready to fight in her best condition at any time. However, he was still looking forward to it. After a day and 2 days of absence, its mood gradually became anxious and its accumulated state of mind slowly relaxed. In the end, its whole body was listless and became listless. Furthermore, it had been guarding outside with the Fox tribe members for the past few days, eating and sleeping in the open, exposed to the elements, and had completely lost its image. This was because it was not sure when Lung Ruashua and the rest would arrive. They were clearly very close to them, but they were still not here. The White Fox tribe leader was getting impatient, and the Fox tribe members were also getting tired of waiting. The image of the foxes was like that of a stray fox that had been wandering for a long time. Their originally snow-white fur had turned gray because they had not washed and combed it for a long time, and it was even stuck together. When Lung Ruashua and the others arrived at the White Fox clan's encampment, they were greeted by a group of dirty and listless foxes. Upon seeing this, Lung Ruashua turned to Old Leopard with a suspicious look. Chief Leopard, is this the Arctic Fox tribe? You didn't bring the wrong one? Thanks, why does this place look like a beggar's den? Wasn't the White Fox race the strongest beast in the Floating Clouds Mountain? He was also known for his intelligence. So how did he end up in such a miserable state? Seeing these dirty foxes called white foxes, Lung Ruashua was deeply suspicious of the Old Leopard's words. Was the Old Leopard praising these foxes a little too much? Little girl, this is the White Fox race's territory. There's no mistake about it. Do you see the biggest fox? It's the leader of the white fox race. In order to increase his credibility, Old Leopard specifically pointed out to Lung Ruoxue who the clan leader of the White Fox clan was. However, when Lung Ruoxue heard the Old Leopard's words, she shot a glance at the White Fox clan leader. She was even more distrustful of the Old Leopard's words. She couldn't believe that the dirty fox that was looking at them in a daze was the White Fox tribe's leader. If it really was, she would be extremely disappointed. In her eyes, all foxes love to be clean. However, Lung Ruoxue couldn't help but cover her face with her hands. They were so dirty that she didn't dare to look at them directly. At this moment, Lung Ruoxue heard another woo sound. Then, the huge fox that was pointed out to be the White Fox clan leader did not even turn its head back and ran away madly behind her like a wisp of smoke. When the other foxes saw this, they also reacted. In the blink of an eye, all the foxes in front of Lung Ruoxue and the others had disappeared. Ugh, what was this situation? Lung Ruoxue and the rest were dumbfounded by the fox's strange behavior. Even Old Leopard was confused. Little did they know that the White Fox clan leader had led a group of people to wait for Lung Ruoxue and the others. They had waited for too long, so none of the thoughts they had in their hearts, or what would happen when the two parties met, were put to use. Not only that, the test of time had made them lose their patience and confidence. Just as they had given up on guessing when Lung Ruoxue and the others would arrive, Lung Ruoxue and the others suddenly appeared in front of them. Hence, they could not react in time and were stunned. The conversation between Lung Ruoxue and the Old Leopard was naturally heard by all the foxes. When the White Fox clan leader came back to his senses, the first thing he thought of was how he would look like as the #1 beautiful fox in the White Fox clan. Finished. It was so embarrassing. As the White Fox clan leader ran, she let her thoughts run wild. Then, she ran back to her residence and quickly washed up. When she reappeared in front of Lung Ruoxue and the others, she was already a fragrant, clean, and snow-white fox. After washing up, the White Fox clan leader's confidence returned. The White Fox clan leader glanced at the Old Leopard arrogantly and said with a sullen face, "Old Leopard, you are a traitor of the beast race, and you still have the face to come back? He even brought back a human to help him. Umph. You have nothing to say now, right? Let's see how you're going to quibble." "I'm not trying to quibble. However, my little girl has said that I'm not a traitor to the beast race. You are." The Old Leopard raised his head and puffed out his chest as he spoke with incomparable confidence. These days, Lung Ruoxue and the others have been brainwashing him a lot. Therefore, the Old Leopard's confidence was now bursting. It was enough to kill all living beings in seconds. "Bullshit, you Old Leopard. We didn't collude with the humans to harm the interests of the beast race." The Old Leopard's words infuriated the White Fox clan leader, and she cursed in her heart. This was slander. The White Fox clan leader could not tolerate the Old Leopard's slander. It was so angry that its long fur stood on end. Its blue eyes were full of anger. If it had not retained a trace of rationality, it would have rushed forward and torn the Old Leopard into pieces. "I don't have any," Old Leopard also said innocently. "No, you've already brought the humans back, and you still dare to say you don't have them?" The White Fox clan leader questioned him angrily. Today, he finally realized that this seemingly honest Old Leopard was actually quite shameless. This was becoming more and more like it. Chapter 23-24 Love at First Sight 3. There's nothing. Old Leopard still said, "You." The White Fox clan leader pointed at the Old Leopard with her huge claws. She was so angry that her whole body was trembling. She was wrong. This Old Leopard was even more shameless than it. The facts were in front of it, but it still dared to renege on the debt. "Calm down." Old Leopard deliberately dragged out his voice, and then coughed a few times and continued, "That, Sly Fox, I'm here today to recruit you. You should quickly surrender." The Old Leopard's words were very direct. However, the White Fox clan leader was puzzled and asked, "What do you mean by amnesty enlistment?" It knew about surrendering, but it had never heard of the term amnesty. Amnesty enlistment means that you surrender of your own accord. Lung Roashua explained with a faint smile. Clan leader White Fox turned her gaze towards Lung Roashua. The moment she saw Lung Roashua, the White Fox clan leader clearly felt as if she had been struck by a bolt of lightning known as love. Then, her little heart started to beat wildly. Her blue eyes were instantly filled with tears, and her face was hot. Following that, she lowered her huge head in embarrassment. Ugh, why did this sly fox suddenly become shy? The old leopard saw the huge fox, who was just baring its fangs and brandishing its claws, wanting to cut him into 8 pieces, suddenly became shy like a little wife in the blink of an eye. He suddenly felt like thunder was rolling down from the sky. Could it be that in the blink of an eye, something had happened that it was unaware of? The old leopard was extremely puzzled. However, when he accidentally discovered that the sly fox was secretly peeking at the little girl Lung Roashua, he understood. It turned out to be a disaster caused by beauty. However, Lung Roashua's image had been circulating in the immortal realm for a long time, and he had never heard that this sly fox had taken a fancy to that little girl. Lung Roashua? Why did it look like it had fallen in love with the little girl at first sight? Should it congratulate him? Old Leopard was a little hesitant. That little girl's idea was not something that anyone could think of. Therefore, it could already foresee the tragic end of this sly fox. However, it didn't want to reveal the result, so it remained silent. As for Lung Roashua, she saw that clan leader White Fox had only glanced at her once before she hurriedly lowered her head. Her heart was filled with suspicion. She knew that many beastmen's aesthetic values were different from that of humans, so she naively thought that her appearance had frightened the fox. However, this was something that could not be helped. She couldn't possibly continue disguising herself just because her appearance had scared Fox, right? There was really no need for the current her to change her appearance. Who asked her reputation in the divine realm to be so resounding that it had already reached the point where everyone knew her? Thinking of this, Lung Roashua continued, the treatment of surrendering voluntarily and being forced to surrender is definitely different. So, clan leader White Fox, you must think this through. Do you want to surrender, or do you want us to use extreme means? I can follow you if I surrender. After hearing Lung Roashua's words, the shy clan leader of the White Fox clan suddenly raised her head and asked with a serious expression. Of course. Lung Roashua nodded her head with certainty. After becoming her beastie, if it didn't follow by her side, where else could it go? Then, the White Fox clan leader peeked at Lung Roashua with her pink eyes. She then turned around to look at her clansmen, who were all at a loss. She felt a little conflicted. Was love more important, or was clansmen more important? If they surrendered voluntarily, they would be able to stay by the side of the person they liked, and the safety of their tribesmen would be guaranteed. However, if they were forced to surrender, they would not have the chance to stay by the side of the person they liked, and the safety of their tribesmen would naturally be uncertain. As the White Fox clan leader pondered, she had already finished her analysis. However, if they surrendered just like that, wouldn't it be too much? The White Fox race was a respected beast race in the Floating Clouds Mountain. If the other beasts knew that it surrendered to the humans without even fighting, would they look down on it? At the thought of this, the White Fox clan leader secretly turned its gaze to the others. When it realized that it could not tell the strength of many people, it suddenly calmed down. Thanks, because there were only 2 possibilities for not being able to see through its strength. One was that the other party was hiding its strength, and the other was that the other party's strength was too much higher than its own. Now, it seemed that this situation was obviously the latter. Although these people did not deliberately release their auras, the White Fox clan leader could still sense that these people were stronger than her. In fact, they were much stronger. These people were obviously here to cause trouble. When the White Fox clan leader saw this, she felt a little indignant. However, as a smart fox, it was important for her to have self-awareness. Hence, after knowing the difference in strength between her and Lung Roashua's group, the White Fox clan leader had already made her choice. This wasn't because its will wasn't strong enough. It was just following the bigger picture. The White Fox clan leader consoled herself. Then, just as it was about to agree, it suddenly frowned and asked with uncertainty, Are you Lung Ruoxiue? It better not get the wrong person. Im Lung Ruoxiue. Lung Ruoxiue's face was filled with black lines at the clan leader's question, but she still answered truthfully. However, before she could understand why the clan leader would ask this, she heard his voice, then "I'll surrender." You're willing to surrender now that you know Im Lung Ruoxiue? Lung Ruoxiue was a little speechless. Since when did her name become so domineering? No, the White Fox clan leader was embarrassed again. It was only afraid that it had mistook the name of the person it loved, so it wanted to ask clearly. However, when the little foxes of the White Fox tribe heard that their tribe leader was going to surrender, they all fell into a petrified state. By the time they reacted and wanted to protest, everything was already set in stone. In addition to that, the White Fox clan leader was a man of his word in the clan. Therefore, there were not many clansmen who dared to oppose her. Thus, Lung Ruoxiue did not face any obstacles when she took over the White Fox clan. In fact, it was so smooth that it left Jiang Ning and the others dumbfounded. After easily taking over the White Fox clan, the smaller beast clans that were attached to the White Fox clan naturally joined Lung Ruoxiue's team. In just a short day, Lung Ruoxiue had taken over 1/3 of the beast clans in the Floating Clouds Mountain. The speed and aggressiveness of the old leopard made him feel no sense of achievement, especially when he saw that the fox, who usually liked to go against him, was not even looking at him. The old leopard was a little disappointed. You bastard. It was something that would forget its friends at the sight of a beauty. It was wrong. They weren't friends. They were enemies. An opponent who forgets his friends at the sight of beauty. He actually ignored his existence. This was preposterous. Old Leopard was full of hatred. Before he came here, Old Leopard had imagined countless scenes when they met, such as a one-on-one fight, a group battle, a pair of NS, and so on. It had thought about everything, but it didn't expect that the cunning fox would surrender before the fight even started. This made it very at a loss. Old Leopard was very sullen and depressed about his old rival's unusual behavior. After thinking for a while, he quietly pulled Lung Ruoxiue to the side and reminded her in a low voice, "Little girl, that fox is famous for being cunning. It surrendered so easily. Be careful of a trap. I'm fine. It can't escape from my palm." Lung Ruoxiue consoled him with a smile. With that, she left the depressed old leopard behind and left. The old leopard, who remained in the same place, felt extremely heavy. At this moment, the White Fox clan leader, who sneezed several times, came to the door with a suspicious look and asked in a low voice, "Damn old leopard, did you say something bad about me in front of Shui? We're sworn enemies. Have you forgotten? So, it's normal for me to badmouth you. Could it be that you're still hoping that I'll put in a good word for you?" The White Fox clan leader's question made the old leopard laugh. What a joke. It was truly laughable. Did this fox forget that there was a deep hatred between them? Therefore, Old Leopard felt that no matter how he criticized this sly fox, it was a matter of course. However, when the White Fox clan leader heard this, she did not fly into a rage. Instead, tears welled up in her eyes as she pitifully pleaded, "Brother Bao, Grandpa Leopard, everything that happened in the past was my fault. I was wrong. Please be magnanimous and forgive me. Woo! Please don't say bad things about me in front of Shui. I'm begging you, all right?" Looking at the White Fox clan leader crying and begging him with tears in his eyes, the old leopard did not know what to say. He was not afraid if this sly fox roared and screamed at him or even fought with him, but he was afraid that humans or beasts would do this in front of him. In fact, it was hard to say that there was a deep grudge between it and this sly fox. After all, everyone lived on the same mountain. It was normal to have some small grudges. Usually, they would just fight and cause small troubles. There was really nothing that would harm the race. With this thought, and the White Fox clan leader's sorrowful plan had indeed worked, the simple and honest old leopard naturally forgave it. Words were like this. As long as it didn't involve irredeemable grudges like the extermination of their clan, everything else was fine. Therefore, under the White Fox clan leader's deliberate fawning, the leopard and fox, who were originally like fire and water, very quickly became as close as brothers. wearing the same pants. Chapter 23-25. Im Your Opponent 1. When Lung Ruoxue saw this situation, other than feeling a little speechless, she did not have any other thoughts. After all, Old Leopard and that narcissistic fox were already on her side. She was happy to see that the two of them had a good relationship. It was better than the two of them being like water and fire the moment they met. She had already beaten up quite a number of beastie the moment they met, so she really did not want to see the two beastie, who were like archenemies, again. Now that she saw that the two of them were good brothers, Lung Ruoxue felt very gratified. However, what she could not stand was that Old Leopard was actually brainwashed by that fox. As long as he found an opportunity, he would praise the fox in front of her as if the fox was the only one in the world. In the end, Lung Ruoxue was forced to hide far away from Old Leopard when she saw him, so that she would not be pestered by his words. After a few days, Old Leopard was depressed. When it was bored, it wanted to have a heart-to-heart talk with the little girl. However, the little girl actually came up with all sorts of excuses to ignore it. This fact made it particularly sad. Of course, its reaction was half a beat slower. At this moment, it still didn't know why Lung Ruoxue was looking down on it. One afternoon, the Old Leopard was lying on the White Fox tribe's territory, sighing and reminiscing about spring and autumn. Suddenly, a tall figure blocked the sunlight above his head and sat down beside him. The Old Leopard closed his eyes and saw Uncle Long. He lazily greeted Uncle Long. "Uncle Long, how are you?" "Hello." Uncle Long nodded and patted the Old Leopard's big furry head. He said helplessly, "Old Leopard, what's wrong with you these days? You sigh all day long. The little girl is ignoring me." After hearing Uncle Long's words, Old Leopard seemed to have found a group and said with a face of grievance, "What did you do to make her unhappy?" Uncle Long asked curiously. "I didn't teach." Old Leopard buried his head in his thoughts, but he could not figure out how he had offended Lung Ruoxue. "Impossible. You must have done something." Uncle Long glanced at the confused Old Leopard and said with certainty, "But I really didn't do anything. Is it because I talked to her too much a while ago, so the two beside her are unhappy?" The Old Leopard was suspicious, and the two fingers he was referring to were naturally evil and azure. "What did you and Shue talk about?" Hearing Old Leopard's words, Uncle Long's curiosity was piqued again. Although the evildoer and Senior Tsong were very stingy, they wouldn't put someone on their blacklist just because they wanted to chat with Shue, right? "Nothing much, just about that fox. I put in a few good words for it in front of the little girl." Old Leopard said honestly. "I see." Uncle Long finally understood. That sly fox's intentions towards Shue were too obvious. They couldn't even pretend that they didn't see it. So, they had always been tactful and stayed away from that fox. They didn't expect that this Old Leopard would actually dare to bump into the muzzle of a gun. No wonder Shue didn't like to bother with it. However, in his opinion, Shue ignoring this Old Leopard was also for its own good. Otherwise, when the demon and Senior Tsong started a fight, the consequences would be absolutely unimaginable. "Uncle Long, do you know the reason?" Seeing that Uncle Long seemed to have understood, Old Leopard asked shamelessly. "Oh, whoa." All of a sudden, a pained cry was heard. Uncle Long patted Old Leopard's head and said with sympathy, "You should know now. Thanks, is that a coquettish fox?" Old Leopard looked at Uncle Long and said with uncertainty, "Well, it's being fixed by someone. Don't be stupid enough to go and help. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble too." Uncle Long kindly reminded, "MMH, I don't know anything." The cries in his ears were getting more and more miserable. Old Leopard really didn't know what to do except to pretend to be deaf and mute. Its little heart trembled as it listened. It was really too terrifying. The Old Leopard had a lingering fear. Suddenly, he had a flash of inspiration and seemed to understand. Old Leopard, who was slow to understand, immediately got up from the ground and ran towards Lung Ruoxue's direction. Of course, it wasn't there to put in a good word for that sly fox. This time, it was to suggest that Lung Ruoxue set off to subdue the other 2/3 of the beast race. After subduing the White Fox clan, Lung Ruoxue and the rest had stayed here for a few days. Of course, this was strongly requested by the alchemists on their side. In the words of those alchemists, they needed to sort out the medicinal herbs they had dug up. By now, they should be almost done, right? Therefore, Old Leopard was very eager for them to set off immediately. Lung Ruoxue, who was urged by the Old Leopard, decided to set off after seeking the opinions of Jiangning and the others. However, before they set off, neither Lung Ruoxue nor the Old Leopard saw the patriarch of the White Fox clan. Of course, no one would mention it this time. Lung Ruoxue and the rest's next destination was the territory of the Wolf clan. Originally, the Arctic Fox tribe, the werewolves, and the leopards were the three great beast tribes of the Floating Clouds Mountain. After Old Leopard's leopard tribe was pushed out, the territory of the leopard tribe was taken over by the bear tribe. The bear tribe also became one of the three major forces in the Floating Clouds Mountain. However, in this subduing operation, they had put the subduing of the bear tribe last. Not long after Lung Ruoxue and the rest set off, a tall figure suddenly appeared at the main entrance of the White Fox clan's encampment. That tall figure had tears in his eyes as he looked longingly at the beautiful figure that was leaving. Suddenly, he let out a loud wah and started wailing. "Clan leader, my condolences." Seeing her clan leader cry, without a care for his image, the little fox beside the tall figure had an extremely conflicted expression on her face. "My condolences, my ass. You've been turned into this by me. Can you even cry? My schwer, my love. Woo, I'm so ugly right now. How can I be by schwer's side?" After hearing the little fox's words, the tall figure, whose original appearance could not be seen at all, cried even more sorrowfully. The little fox was helpless and didn't know what to say. "AI, it's just that his fur was shaved." Did she have to cry so sadly? It's not like it can't grow back. The little fox could not understand. Compared to its clan leader's face that had been beaten into a pig's head, it deeply felt that it was nothing to lose fur. The clan leader's face was the most serious injury. Okay? Unfortunately, the beauty-loving patriarch didn't think so at all. When she thought of this, the little fox closed her eyes and glanced at the clan leader's current appearance. The long fur on its body had been shaved flat, and there was a bald patch here and there. Its face was swollen like a pig's head, and it was swollen with colorful bruises. It was impossible to see its original appearance. Those two terrifying guys actually didn't allow the clan leader to eat healing pills and asked him to recover naturally. This fact made the timid little fox's heart tremble. What those two guys did to the clan leader was really too outrageous. Chapter 23-26. Am your opponent too? However, it only dared to feel indignant for the clan leader in its heart. It definitely did not dare to find trouble with those two fellows. If the clan leader was not their match, then even the entire White Fox clan would not be enough. Therefore, the White Fox tribe could only support and console their clan leader. "Clan leader, master, and the others have gone far away. We should return. You still have to recuperate." Looking at the clan leader who was crying and sobbing, the little fox did her job and reminded her. "Oh." The sobbing White Fox clan leader wiped her tears and obediently went back. Right now, she only dared to sneak a glance at schwer. She did not have the face to appear in front of her at all. This was because she had actually promised that she would not have any more ideas about schwer when she was faced with those two evil forces. Therefore, she felt that she could only change her love to a secret love. Sob. It was so miserable as a fox. It had finally met the love of its heart. So why did it have to meet those two evil forces? The White Fox clan leader's face was filled with grief and indignation. Then, with her head lowered, she slowly walked back to the clan in a dejected and miserable manner. Lung Ruoxue wasn't aware of this scene, and Tsang, who was aware of it, naturally wouldn't tell Lung Ruoxue about this. On the way to the Wolf tribe's territory, Jiang Ning and the others gathered herbs like crazy again. Old Leopard was calm about this. He patiently waited for them to finish gathering herbs and then continued to lead the way. Just like that, The short journey to the wolf tribe took them another 5 days. The werewolves, who had been watching them all this time, were almost driven mad by their slow movements. However, the leader of the werewolves was not like the White Fox clan, who always stood guard outside the encampment. The wolf clan's patriarch was very calm. Other than sending people to gather information and monitor the movements of Lung Ruoshue and the others, he did what he had to do. The moment Lung Ruoshue and the rest entered the wolf clan's territory, they were immediately surrounded by the wolf pack that had been waiting at their original location. The wolves that surrounded them were mostly black wolves. Of course, there were also a few red wolves. From the color of these wolves, Lung Ruoshue knew without a doubt that the strength of the wolf tribe here was not high. In the wolf clan, the silver wolf had the highest status and was also the noblest. However, there was not a single wolf among these wolves, so their strength was naturally not that strong. Lung Ruoshue smiled faintly when she saw the wolves' covetous eyes. Then, with a thought, she took out the silver wolf tribe member from her bracelet. The silver wolf king, who was being lovey-dovey with his wife, was a little confused when it first came out. However, when it smelled the scent of its own kind, it immediately released its own pressure and roared provocatively at the sky. Then it held its head high and looked down at the wolf pack in front of it. The wolf pack that had surrounded Lung Ruoshue and the others were initially smug and pleased with themselves. However, when they saw the Silver Wolf clan that had suddenly appeared, they were all completely dumbfounded. What was this? The Silver Wolf tribe? Thanks, the howls of the Silver Wolf King had already made the timid wolves shiver in fear, especially when the Silver Wolf King looked at them with an extremely disdainful gaze. Some of the wolves' legs went soft, and they could not even stand steadily. After a short while, the wolves that surrounded Lung Ruoshue and the others knelt down one after another. The Silver Wolf King was the most respected king in the wolf clan. Although it was not their king, they still had to kneel when they saw the Silver Wolf King. This was because the difference in status was determined by the bloodline of the wolf tribe. The Silver Wolf King's bloodline was naturally superior to all other wolves, and it naturally had a suppressing effect on the wolf clan. Therefore, no matter what status their clan had in the floating cloud mountain, they could not get up when they saw the Silver Wolf King. "You bastard! Who dares to cause trouble in my wolf clan? You must be tired of living." Just as the wolves were trembling and paying their respects to the Silver Wolf King, an earth-shaking roar came from afar. Needless to say, this was definitely the local wolf that had heard the Silver Wolf King's howl and had come out from its own home to establish its might. In an instant, a black figure teleported to Lung Ruoshue and the rest sighed. Following that, a silver figure dashed out rapidly. The silver and black figures were entangled with each other. However, in the blink of an eye, the battle between the two figures had ended. Then, Lung Ruoshue and the others were speechless as they watched the Silver Wolf King on their side trample on a giant black wolf that was slightly smaller than it. The giant black wolf's face was also filled with unyielding anger. It struggled to get up, but the Silver Wolf King's big claws slapped down, and the giant black wolf became obedient again. "Detestable! Where did you come from, Silver Wolf King? How come I've never seen you before?" The giant black wolf howled with grief and indignation. Why? Why would the Silver Wolf King come to the floating cloud mountain? Originally, he had chosen the floating clouds mountain as his territory because the Silver Wolf tribe looked down on it. But he had never thought that after so many years of carefreeness and comfort, he would actually meet a Silver Wolf King. No, it was a Silver Wolf tribe. Looking at the silver wolves surrounding its little brother, the giant black wolf became more and more indignant. Fuck, were these really silver wolves? Having lived in the divine realm for so many years, it had never known that there were so many members of the Silver Wolf tribe. It was the one who said that the silver wolves could only give birth to one at a time. Wasn't this just a rumor? Looking at these wolves, it could not believe that they were all born one by one. Because according to what he knew, even the Silver Wolf clan, which was the most powerful clan in the divine realm, did not have more than half the number of clansmen in front of him. Have you seen all the Silver Wolf Kings? The Silver Wolf King asked with a smile after hearing the Black Wolf's words. So what if I am? The giant Black Wolf was very uncooperative. Seeing this, the Silver Wolf King was neither angry nor annoyed. Instead, its huge claws directly hit the head of the giant Black Wolf again. With a loud paw sound, the giant Black Wolf's head drooped down, and there were only little stars in front of its eyes. Whatever this king asks you, you have to answer properly. Otherwise, you'll be the one in trouble. The Silver Wolf King warned. You're really bullying a wolf. We're both wolves. How can you bully the weak? The Black Wolf's expression became more and more sorrowful, and its voice was a little choked. So what if I bully you? If I don't bully you, would you be honest? The Silver Wolf King replied calmly. This is my territory. The giant Black Wolf couldn't help but remind him. Coming to its territory to bully it. How dare this detestable fellow? It's mine now. This place, as well as all of you, have been commandeered by me. From now on, all of you will have to follow my master, understand? The Silver Wolf King did not care about what the giant Black Wolf said. It announced its decision and the fate of these wolves. The giant Black Wolf was so angry that its long hair stood on end. However, it did not have the chance to show its anger. The Silver Wolf King punched and kicked it again. When it stopped, the giant Black Wolf was already on its last breath. Chapter 23-27. Am your opponent 3? Can't you be more honest? Must I use violence? After the Silver Wolf King was done beating him up, it even grumbled in dissatisfaction. Upon hearing this, the giant Black Wolf wanted to cry, but had no tears. Lung Ruakshu's face was filled with black lines. The mocking gazes of Uncle Long and the others made her feel extremely awkward. She guaranteed that her beastie's violence had nothing to do with her. Are you being honest now? Are you convinced? Seeing that the Black Wolf did not respond, the Silver Wolf King asked again impatiently. I'm honest, I'm convinced. The Black Wolf had tears in its eyes. Woo. He couldn't even stand up after being beaten up, so how could he be disobedient? That's good. Remember, you have to follow my master in the future. Do whatever my master says. If you dare to play tricks, he'll continue to beat you up. The Silver Wolf King threatened. Ew. Why do you have a master? The Black Wolf asked in disbelief. In fact, it had wanted to ask this question earlier, but before it could open its mouth, it was beaten up. Now, it also wanted to know the answer to this question, otherwise it would die with grievances. Why can't I have a master? The Silver Wolf King was stunned for a moment and asked. The noble Silver Wolf clan will not recognize a master. The giant Black Wolf said very seriously. Even they were not willing to find a master for themselves, let alone the Silver Wolf clan, which had the noblest bloodline among the Wolf clan. Therefore, it could not understand that the Silver Wolf King in front of it, who had beaten it up, had a master. My ass. That's because they didn't meet a good master. Otherwise, they'll beg to be recognized as their master. When the Silver Wolf King heard this, it immediately scoffed. Maybe. The giant Black Wolf did not know what to say when it saw the Silver Wolf King's stubbornness. At the same time, in order to prevent itself from being beaten up again, it tactfully echoed the wolf. The Silver Wolf King patted the head of the giant Black Wolf in admiration and promised, "Follow my master and do a good job. I promise you won't suffer any losses." I still don't know who your master is. The giant Black Wolf helplessly reminded. Woo! It seemed like it could only accept its fate. My master is Lung Ruashua. From now on, you have to listen to her. The Silver Wolf King warned. Yes. The giant Black Wolf nodded. Whoa! It should have guessed that this Silver Wolf was related to that human, Lung Ruashua. It was a pity that it didn't think in that direction because it didn't like humans. However, now that he knew this fact, it was probably useless. It was already in the bag of these humans. Following that, under the Silver Wolf King's authority, the giant Black Wolf, which was covered in injuries, respectfully invited Lung Ruashua and the rest to the encampment. Then, it sent people to invite the weaker magical beasts that were attached to the Wolf clan. Just like that, Lung Roashue subdued the wolf clan and the forces on its side without much effort. The Silver Wolf King, who had made a great contribution, immediately asked for the bracelet back after the Black Wolf became obedient and continued to be intimate with his beloved wife. When Old Leopard saw Lung Roashue and the others had subdued the wolf tribe, he sighed with emotion. If these people had not wasted their time on picking herbs, Floating Clouds Mountain would have been in their hands by now. However, it also knew that the Floating Clouds Mountain was too small, so this little girl didn't put in her eyes at all. Otherwise, she wouldn't have taken picking herbs as her main task and subduing the beasts of the Floating Clouds Mountain at the same time. After subduing the wolf tribe, Lung Roashue and the rest did not waste any more time. The next day, they set off for their final destination, the bear tribe's encampment. Along the way, the Old Leopard looked at the familiar road and couldn't help crying several times. He was too familiar with the road to the bear tribe, but now it didn't belong to him. The Old Leopard was a little sad. If he had not been so useless, he would not have left his home and been driven out of the Floating Cloud Mountain. This time, he must hold his head high and restore the prestige of the leopard tribe. At the thought of this, Old Leopard couldn't help but turn to Lung Roashue and say, "Little girl, regarding the matter of subduing the bear tribe, let me step in." "Sure." Lung Roashue nodded. Seeing that Lung Roashue had agreed, Old Leopard's momentum was boosted, and he walked with vigor. However, when he arrived at the bear tribe's encampment, Old Leopard felt a sense of homesickness. Lung Roashue was speechless when she saw Old Leopard's coy look. Wasn't this Old Leopard's imposing manner quite high along the way? "Why are you so scared here?" Thanks seeing this, Lung Roashue could not help but remind him, "Leopard clan leader, it's your turn. Go." The bear clan was different from the fox clan and the wolf clan. No one from the bear clan had come out to welcome them. At this time, the bears were in hibernation. Therefore, Lung Roashue guessed that those lazy bears should be sleeping. "That, I'm going," Old Leopard said with his chest out. "Yes." Lung Roashue nodded. Then, just as she was about to see Old Leopard off, who knew that Old Leopard would suddenly become dispirited and lower his head, looking listless, "He'll brew it again." Old Leopard couldn't help but whisper, "What are you afraid of? Isn't it just a bear? They're not as agile as you. You can beat them, can't you?" Lung Roashue couldn't help but ask. The Old Leopard's fearsome appearance was really unlike the Old Leopard she knew. Could it be that he had been replaced? "It's not that I can't beat them, but their defense is too thick. It's too troublesome to fight them, so I have to think of a good way. Otherwise, they'll be exhausted to death by them." The Old Leopard explained. In the entire divine world, there were not many beasts who were willing to fight with those big, stupid bears. Unless it was at the level of the 4 king divine beasts, which could kill any beast in seconds, they would be at a disadvantage fighting with bears. "I see." Lung Roashue gave it some thought. This was indeed a problem. However, didn't Old Leopard think of this before he came here? Why did he only think about this now? This Old Leopard's reaction was really slow. Lung Roashue couldn't help but sigh as she looked at Old Leopard, who was deep in thought. She then suggested, "Why don't you rest while I deal with them?" This. I said I'd do it myself." Old Leopard said, embarrassed. "Isn't this a different story? If you have a good idea, of course you will deal with it. But before that, let me do it for you. How is it?" Lung Roashue coaxed. "All right then, you deal with him first. He'll continue to think of a way." Old Leopard thought for a while and agreed. "All right." Lung Roashue chuckled to herself, then said, "Leopard clan leader, please call out our opponent first." "No problem, watch me." Old Leopard's chi power suddenly changed. Then, he immediately roared towards the empty boundary. Following that, Lung Roashue and the others heard footsteps. They felt the ground in front of them was shaking and the rumbling sounds were deafening. After that, dozens of dark brown bears that were over 10 meters tall appeared in front of Lung Roashue and the others. These bears all looked drowsy, and some of them were still covered in dried yellow grass. They all looked like they had not woken up. But when they saw Old Leopard, their bronze-like eyes instantly widened. "Old Leopard, You dare to come back? Oh, he even brought back a lot of humans. You're so bold. Aren't you afraid that the beasts of our floating clouds mountain will join forces to exterminate you? The largest bear in the lead roared at the top of its voice. They still didn't know that Floating Clouds Mountain was about to change hands. These bears loved to sleep and have been sleeping ever since they occupied the old leopard's territory. Therefore, they knew nothing about the changes in the Floating Clouds Mountain, and never would they have thought that they were the only force left in the Floating Clouds Mountain. Otherwise, they wouldn't have let their guard down. I'm scared. However, I'm afraid I have to come back. Old Leopard said with a smile. Did you come back to die? Oomph. Since you're looking for death, don't blame us for being ruthless. The leading bear said coldly. It thought that Old Leopard had found a helper to get back his territory. For the brown bear tribe, it was impossible to make it spit out the territory that they had finally obtained. Don't worry, I won't blame you. Old Leopard laughed secretly, because these bears were about to be in the little girl's pocket. Hearing the old leopard's words, the leader of the giant bears grinned. Then, the huge bear pounced at the old leopard. However, before it could touch the old leopard's fur, it was blocked by a petite human woman. Needless to say, this human woman was Lung Ruoshue. Lung Ruoshue blocked the giant bear's path. Before the giant bear was completely enraged, she said directly, "Big guy, I'm your opponent." What? Upon hearing this, the leader of the giant bears looked down at Lung Ruoshue. It could not imagine that this human woman, who was not even as thick as its arm, would actually dare to stop it. Could it be that this little human did not know that he could send her flying out of Floating Cloud Mountain with a single kick? Was she not afraid? I'm your opponent. Seeing the suspicious expression on the leader of the giant bears, Lung Ruoshue felt that the fellow in front of her did not understand what she was saying, so she repeated herself. However, hearing the same words for the second time, the giant bear leader was furious. You bastard! I'm not deaf. You don't have to repeat it twice. Lung Ruoshue fell silent. If you understand, why don't you give me a reaction? Why do you have a blank expression? When Uncle Long and the rest heard the giant bear's words and caught a glimpse of Lung Ruoshue's depressed look, they laughed in their hearts. Chapter 23-28. A second-class disability in the eyes of the giant bear. 1. However, even though Uncle Long and the rest were laughing in their hearts, they did not dare to show it on their faces. Otherwise, they would be in deep trouble if that last Lung Ruoshue got angry. However, did they think that Lung Ruoshue would not know that they were laughing in their hearts just because they did not laugh out loud? If he really thought that way, then he was wrong. It was just that Lung Ruoshue didn't have the time to find trouble with them. She had placed all her attention on the big stupid bear in front of her. That damn stupid bear. He actually dared to talk to her in a disdainful tone. So what if she said twice? Was it illegal? Lung Ruoshue's heart was burning with anger. Following that, she looked at the giant bear in disdain and said, "Are you deaf? I thought you were old and had bad hearing, so you didn't know what I was talking about. Otherwise, why was there no reaction? Or rather, you're just too slow. You despicable human. I didn't want to hurt you because you're so petite, but now that you've provoked me, they'll show you my true reaction." The leader of the bears was provoked by Lung Ruoshue and immediately flew into a rage. In reality, the reason why it did not react to Lung Ruoshue was not only because it did not understand why Lung Ruoshue dared to stop it, but also because bears were not that sensitive. In addition, it was still thinking about the reason why Lung Ruoshue had stopped it. With all these factors combined, its reaction was naturally even slower. However, it clearly knew that its reaction was slower than the other beasties, and it was unwilling to be spoken out so directly by a human. Therefore, the giant bear was enraged, and the consequences would be very serious. In the next second, the leading giant bear's hill-sized body immediately pounced towards the petite Lung Ruoshue. Lung Ruoshue had become its main target. If it did not teach this human woman a lesson, how could it continue to live in Floating Cloud Mountain in the future? With this thought in mind, the giant bear did not show any mercy to Lung Ruoshue. Its palm leaf fan-like bare paws swung left and right, bringing with them a sharp wind. Unfortunately, it could not even touch a single hair on Lung Ruoxue. Lung Ruoxue dodged left and right. Her body was extremely agile. Not long after, the leader of the giant bears was drenched in sweat. The giant bear panted heavily and soon became so tired that it could only stand on the spot and pant. However, its pair of copper-like fierce eyes glared at Lung Ruoxue even more fiercely. Seeing this, Lung Ruoxue's smile became even more blue as she encouraged, "Big stupid bear, hurry up and run. Don't stop. I'm still waiting for you to finish me off." These infuriating words almost made the leader of the bear spit out blood. Its eyes widened even more. However, its body was huge to begin with, and after chasing Lung Ruoxue for so long, it really had no strength left. At this moment, the bear, who was filled with hatred, waved its huge paw and said to the anxious clansmen behind it, "Everyone attack! Teach this ugly monster a good lesson." Ugly? Was he talking about her? Hearing these 3 words, Lung Ruoxue fell silent. She had even forgotten to listen to the giant bear's reactions as she stood rooted to the ground. Although she had long known that some beasts had a different sense of beauty from humans, and also knew that this was definitely not the first time a beast had called her ugly. And of course, it would not be the last time, but every time she heard a beast call her that with a face full of disgust, she still could not help but feel confused. And it wasn't just her. Any human who heard these 3 words from a bear's mouth would probably be unable to remain calm. Mo Yin and the others were also dumbfounded. Thanks in comparison, Uncle Long and Old Leopard were the calmest. Furthermore, their eyes were fixed on the giant bears. As soon as the giant bears made their move and were about to surround the petrified Lung Ruoxue, Uncle Long and Old Leopard rushed out like 2 sharp blades and blocked the giant bears. At this moment, Lung Ruoxue had also regained her senses. Her beautiful eyes glanced at the leading giant bear, who was still unaware of the impending danger, and said to Uncle Long, "Uncle Long, you watch the battle first. I'll deal with these bears. Little girl, there are quite a few of these bears. Uncle Long will help you take care of a few. I don't want you to be tired." Uncle Long said worriedly. He was mainly afraid that Shue would be provoked by these bears. If these bears took advantage of a loophole, Shue would be in danger. "Uncle Long, I'm fine. I can handle it." After speaking, Lung Ruoxue turned her attention to the bears. She couldn't be bothered to waste any more time with them. Floating in midair, she threw the fire-type divine energy in her hand at the huge brown bear. The huge fireballs were as dense as meteors and emitted a terrifying temperature. Uncle Long and the others immediately retreated when they saw this, and a trace of sympathy appeared in their hearts for those giant bears who were seeking death. What a pitiful guy. He had really angered Shue. Otherwise, Shue wouldn't have directly killed him. Those who had seen Lung Ruoxue's terrifying flames naturally knew how powerful those flames were. It was a pity that the giant bears were too confident in their own defense. Hence, other than feeling a little hot, they did not think much of it. After each of the giant bears put up a defense for themselves, they were like bystanders, admiring the dazzling fireballs. But when they saw the fireballs break through their defense and come in their direction, they really panicked. The giant bears continued to defend in a flurry, but how could their defense be faster than the fireballs? Before the second wave of defense was launched, the fireballs had already pounced on them. In an instant, dozens of giant bears were set on fire. Arg! It hurts. Pained howls could be heard from the sea of fire. Lung Ruoxue patted her fair hands and laughed. "It's done, we're done." Ugh! When everyone heard this, they couldn't help but wipe their sweat. You're not going to settle it. However, these bears were in for it. Moreover, they seem to be here to subdue these bears, right? You shouldn't be here to eat roasted bear paws. But now, not to mention a roasted bear paw, it had directly become a roasted bear. Little girl, are you planning to burn them to death?" The old leopard couldn't help but ask, not daring to look at the terrible state of the giant bears. Although the leopard clan and the beast clan of the Floating Clouds Mountain had some disputes, they were all beasts. Seeing that these bears were about to become roasted bears, the kind old leopard still couldn't bear it. It was not to say that it was a woman's mercy, but that there was no irreconcilable enmity between them. Therefore, the old leopard naturally did not want to see these bears become roasted bears. Beasts were not as ungrateful as some humans. There were few ungrateful ones in the beast clan. Most of the beasts were grateful to their benefactors. Otherwise, Old Leopard would not have asked for mercy for these unlucky bears. "Do you want to eat roasted bear paws?" Lung Roashua laughed, but did not answer. "No, I don't." The old leopard was very honest. Although leopards were carnivores, they only ate weak and unintelligent small beasts. As for bears, they had never eaten them before and would not eat them. After all, in their eyes, eating highly intelligent beasts was the behavior of the devil. Chapter 23-29. A second-class disability in the eyes of the giant bear, too. I see. Then I can only not burn them to death. Lung Roashua laughed evilly. Hearing this, Old Leopard was relieved. The little girl's words of not burning them to death meant that those big guys' lives were saved. However, they might suffer a lot of physical pain, but it was still better than losing their lives. Old Leopard was very open-minded about this. Naturally, Lung Roashua was a woman of her words. When she felt that the time was almost up, she retracted her flames. Very quickly, the giant bear, which had been burnt to a pitch-black state, appeared before everyone. When the crowd saw this scene, they felt even more sympathy for these giant bears. Poor big guy. It seemed that the thick, long hair on his body that could withstand the cold had been burned clean. However, his skin looked much smoother now, except it had turned black. These bears had also fainted from the pain. Lung Roashua threw a large ice-cold water ball at the leading bear. Not long after, the bear with the most serious injuries slowly opened its heavy eyelids under the stimulation of the cold. This time, the way it looked at Lung Roashua was filled with fear. "W, what are you doing? Get away from me." The leader of the giant bears looked at Lung Roashua, who was slowly approaching him, in fear. It dragged its heavily injured body and crawled on the ground with a face full of fear, trying to get away from this human demon. "Don't be afraid. I just want to ask you a question." Lung Roashua smiled as she stood in front of the giant bear, speaking in a friendly manner. "I don't know anything. Don't ask me." When the leader of the giant bears heard this, he was so frightened that he shook his head repeatedly. He kept retreating, hoping to stay as far away from this terrifying human, Lung Roashua. The damage this human woman had caused to his heart was too deep. The moment he thought of those terrifying flames that he could not defend against, he had the urge to bang his head against them. At least, it was better than being burned to death alive. "If you don't ask, then who do you ask?" Lung Roashua continued to smile. "I don't know. You can ask anyone but me." The giant bear shook its head in fear, and bean-sized tears fell from its eyes. Then it burst into tears again. It was really too terrifying. Lung Roashua looked at the huge bear that was bawling its eyes out in front of her. She was completely speechless. Wasn't this bear still full of vigor just a while ago? Why did it wither in such a short time? This made her quite disappointed. "Stop crying. I just want to ask you, how am I ugly?" Lung Roashua couldn't take it anymore and roared. However, her words made Uncle Long and the others speechless. Just to ask this question, he scared the bear to this extent. That's a skill, right? When the giant bear heard Lung Roashua's words, it blinked its eyes continuously and whispered, "You don't have any hair, you're not tall enough, and your skin color isn't very healthy. You can't give birth to our offspring, so in our eyes, you're a second-class disabled, an unqualified, ugly woman." After it honestly expressed its thoughts, the giant bear was still shivering in fear. It was afraid that Lung Roashua would set it on fire again in a fit of anger. If that happened, it would not be far from death. However, Lung Roashua was even more speechless after hearing the giant bear's words. All right, she was a second-class disabled person. "You bastard. This was clearly using a bear's sense of beauty to demand humans. She was a human. Why did she need so much fur? Why did it have to be so high? Why was he so black? If she really looked like this, she would probably cry to death. Thanks, and at this moment, she was also a little angry with herself. She knew that some beasts had a different sense of beauty from humans, so why was she taking a bear so seriously? Wouldn't that be looking for trouble? At the thought of this, Lung Ruoxue went straight to the point. Big stupid bear, we've come here to subdue you. What else do you losers have to say? Do you want to resist to the end or tactfully surrender? What can we say? If we don't surrender, will you let us go? Even though the giant bear leader's reaction was not as fast as the other beasties, it was not stupid. The difference in strength between it and Lung Ruoxue allowed it to make a wise decision without even thinking. I won T. Lung Ruoxue was very clear. Then what other choice do we have? We can only surrender. The leader of the giant bears said dejectedly. Then, it couldn't help but add, although we've surrendered, if the other beast clans on the Floating Clouds Mountain were to find out that a human has come to the Floating Clouds Mountain, they would definitely join forces. When it said this, its tone was obviously gloating. Unfortunately, Lung Ruoxue only rolled her eyes at it indifferently and said, "There's no need for you to worry about this. Now, with the exception of you big stupid bears, all the beasts in the entire Floating Clouds Mountain are my subordinates." Upon hearing this, the giant bear, who had been gloating a moment ago, was stunned and speechless for a long time. When it finally reacted and wanted to ask more, the old leopard patted its head sympathetically and comforted it. "My condolences. The white fox race and the wolf race are much more tactful than you." AI. The old leopard sighed again, his eyes full of sympathy for the big, stupid bear. This guy was so confused about the situation. What should he do? However, the leading bear didn't understand the meaning of the old leopard's sigh. Instead, he pulled the old leopard's claws with a look of disbelief and asked shamelessly, "The beasts of the Floating Clouds Mountain, were they all subdued by these humans?" "Yes. Your bear tribe will be the last batch to be subdued." The old leopard said honestly, "How is that possible? Our Floating Clouds Mountain is as solid as a rock, as solid as an iron barrel. How could it be so easily broken through? It must be you, you traitor, who betrayed us. Isn't that right?" Although the giant bear had chosen to surrender, it still refused to believe the fact that the Floating Clouds Mountain had changed hands. Therefore, after hearing the old leopard's words, it could not help but question him loudly. The old leopard's answer to it was a big roll of his eyes. The old leopard looked up at the sky at a 45-degree angle. It was wrong. It shouldn't be too kind to sympathize with this stupid bear. This was a hopeless battle bear, not worthy of sympathy. With this thought in mind, the old leopard wagged his tail and left slowly. "Hey, come back. Come back here. I haven't let you go yet." Seeing that the old leopard had left without giving him any face, the leader of the giant bears could not help roaring. However, old leopard didn't even look back. Seeing this, Uncle Long walked over and dragged the giant bear that was dozens of meters tall like he was carrying a chicken. "Let me teach you the rules." After saying that, the giant bear was dragged to a corner by Uncle Long. Then, everyone heard the sound of rustling, accompanied by some terrifying howls from time to time. However, everyone present was mentally strong, so when they heard the painful howls, they acted as if nothing had happened and did what they were supposed to do. Chapter 2330. A second-class disability in the eyes of the giant bear. 3. On the other hand, the bears that had fainted were awakened by the cries of pain and the noise. However, when they woke up and saw Lung Ruoxue, the bears fainted again. A moment later, the giant bear that Uncle Long had dragged out from the corner had a bigger head. Its eyes were so swollen that they were squinted into a line, and there was a trace of blood at the corner of its mouth. Uncle Long dragged the bear and threw it in front of Lung Ruoxue. Before Uncle Long could say anything, the giant bear started howling, "Master! Master! Little Bear was wrong. Little Bear shouldn't have doubted your strength. Our Floating Cloud Mountain is not an iron cylinder. Our place is made of paper that you can easily break with a light poke. Master, you are wise and brilliant. Under your wise leadership, our floating cloud mountain will definitely grow stronger and stronger. In time, our floating cloud mountain will definitely become the #1 major power in the divine realm. Little Bear is absolutely confident of this. Lung Roashue was a loss for words after being sucked up by such a huge bear. Her beautiful eyes looked at Uncle Long teasingly, as if to say, "Uncle Long, did you teach me to say such words?" Schwer, it has nothing to do with me." Seeing the hidden meaning in Lung Roakshu's eyes, Uncle Long quickly clarified that he was not willing to be the scapegoat. Moreover, he didn't expect that the bear would make him so speechless. He couldn't help but give the bear a hard kick, and then scolded, "Say something useful, you bastard. Who allowed you to say this?" "Master, this little bear's sincerity can shine on the sun and moon." When the leading giant bear heard the word useful, it racked its brain to think of this sentence. However, its words made Lung Roashua not know whether to laugh or cry. Could it be that in this bear's heart, the only useful thing was for it to kiss ass? To be honest, Lung Roashua hated it when people flattered her. Therefore, she didn't resonate with the giant bear's words. Instead, she wanted to give it a few kicks. More importantly, she couldn't accept the fact that such a big bear called itself a little bear. At the thought of this, Lung Roashua said, "Take your clansmen and find a place where no one is around. I don't want to see you now." Upon hearing this, the giant bear leader was filled with grief and anger. It looked at Lung Roashua pitifully and said, "Master, why? What did Little Bear do wrong? Tell me, and it'll definitely change." It couldn't be thrown into the cold palace before it could even perform. Beastie that was not liked by its master would have a very miserable end. Therefore, the leading bear felt that it must not end up like that. "You're too stingy." Lung Roashua was speechless. This bear was truly capable of shaking the heavens and earth when it spoke. Master, it'll change. It'll change. Don't make me find a place with no one around to stay. Okay?" The leader of the giant bears begged pitifully. "You can't change it." Lung Roashua glanced at the bear. "Master, I mean what I say. I guarantee that it will be changed." The leader of the giant bears raised his big bear paw and promised. "Oh, really? Since that's the case, they'll give you a chance. Let's start by not calling yourself a little bear." Lung Roashua said, after some thought, "If you're not called Little Bear, what should you call it?" The leader of the giant bears said in a conflicted tone, He called Big Bear." The old leopard suggested, "Big bears aren't as friendly as little bears." The leader of the bears was not satisfied with being called Big Bear. When Lung Roashua heard this, she felt as if there were more black lines on her forehead. "Don't you have a name?" Lung Roashua asked helplessly. "No, I didn't." The leader of the giant bears spoke the truth, not at all feeling that it was embarrassing to not have a name. "Little girl, these bears are too lazy." He only knew how to sleep all day and had no chance to use his name. So, we usually call them Beery 1, Beery 2, and so on. Old Leopard explained with an evil smile. "Then let's call him as we did before." Lung Roashua nodded. She didn't want to get tangled up over the names of a few bears. Furthermore, there were too many beastie, so she could come up with a name. Therefore, she irresponsibly pushed away these hot potatoes. After deciding to continue using the old name, Lung Roashua instructed Old Leopard to invite the White Fox clan leader and the Wolf clan leader over. They were preparing to leave the floating cloud mountain, so she had to give them some instructions. After receiving Old Leopard's notice, the Wolf clan's patriarch rushed over. However, the White Fox clan's patriarch had yet to arrive. Lung Roashua was worried and sent the Wolf clan's patriarch to look for him as well. After a long time, the Leopard and the Wolf tribe's leader finally returned. As for the White Fox tribe's leader, he was carried over by the two of them. Lung Roashua looked at the White Fox clan leader, who was curled up into a ball and pretending to be dead. She then turned to look at Old Leopard with suspicion. When Old Leopard saw this, he chuckled and said, "Little girl, this sly fox refused to come, so I had no choice but to work together with Chief Lang to tie it up and bring it here." Thanks, White Fox clan leader, what's wrong? Lung Ruashue was puzzled by the clan leader's bashful expression. No, nothing. Master, I'm not feeling well. I don't want to see anyone. The White Fox clan leader whispered. Uncomfortable? What do you feel uncomfortable? Lung Ruashue asked in concern. No big deal. The White Fox clan leader continued, and she buried her head even deeper. Master, this sly fox will feel uncomfortable for a few days every month. It's no problem. The Wolf Clan leader laughed evilly when he saw this. Ugh! Hearing this, Lung Ruashue didn't know how to react. Could it be that the male beasts in the divine realm were different from what she knew? Just as Lung Ruashue was filled with suspicion, Old Leopard interrupted. That's right. The White Fox Clan leader will have those few days every month. Little girl, you don't have to worry. You bastard. You guys only have a few days every month. And very normal, a normal male beast. As soon as Chief Lang and the Old Leopard finished speaking, the White Fox tribe leader, who had curled up into a ball, jumped up and pointed at them angrily. Yo, don't play dead. Seeing this, Old Leopard laughed evilly. Arg, I don't have the face to see anyone. Don't stop me, let me die. The White Fox clan leader realized that she had been tricked after hearing what Old Leopard said. She quickly turned around and covered her face with her hands, looking as if she was about to commit suicide. However, even though it covered its face, its fur could not. Moreover, the long hair that had not fully grown out was still uneven and pockmarked, which was very unsightly. When Lung Ruashue caught a glimpse of this scene, she didn't need to guess to know that it was Evil Demon and Song's doing. Otherwise, this white fox wouldn't be so calm. However, a fox that loved beauty was turned into such an ugly state. One could imagine how big of a blow this was to a certain fox. No wonder he didn't dare to meet anyone. However, even though this fox was a little ugly now, it didn't have to be so desperate, right? What a big deal. Lung Ruashue could not understand. At this time, the white fox, who was still on the verge of death, saw that no one was stopping it from committing suicide and felt a little embarrassed. Just as it was hesitating about how to end this, it heard its master's heavenly voice. Are you done? Lung Ruashue said, pretending to be impatient. I feel wronged. Upon hearing this, the white fox instantly returned to normal. However, its resentful blue eyes were still fixed on Lung Ruashue. Its red eyes were saying, Master, please protect me. Oh, how can you not feel aggrieved? Lung Ruashue said cooperatively. Do you want to turn around and beat us up? All of a sudden, a cold male voice interrupted, giving the White Fox clan leader a fright. She could not help but feel a chill in her heart. Then, she saw the White Fox clan leader waving her hand and saying, No need. No need. I won't feel aggrieved anymore. Since you're not feeling aggrieved anymore, then quickly get over here and stand properly. Schwetter has something to say to you. The demon continued to release cold air. When the White Fox and Wolf tribe leaders saw this, they quickly stood in a line and waited for their master's instructions. At this time, the demon turned to the giant bear who had been watching the show and roared, What are you still standing there for? It's none of your business, right? Or it wasn't he. No. Even though it had been shot, the leading bear did not dare to get angry or say anything. It could only obediently stand in a row with the other two. Lung Ruashue could not help but laugh in her heart. The three of them seemed to have been scared out of their wits by the demon. In fact, she didn't know when the evildoer had taught them a lesson. However, since the evildoer was willing to be the white face, she wouldn't stop him. Following that, Lung Ruashue directly said to the three in front of her, We will leave Floating Cloud Mountain soon. Master, where are we going? Before Lung Ruashue could finish her sentence, the White Fox clan leader asked impatiently, We're the ones leaving, not you. You will continue to stay here. Lung Ruashue explained. Upon hearing this, the White Fox clan leader immediately howled at the top of her lungs, Woo! Master, are you going to abandon us so soon? You said that I can stay by your side. How can you go back on your word? The White Fox clan leader was heartbroken. It deeply felt that its infatuation had been heavily hurt, and it was so sad that it wanted to kill itself. Just now. Why did you stop it? Who said I'm going to abandon you? Lung Ruashua said helplessly as she glanced at the bawling white fox clan leader. Master said he was leaving and told us to stay here. The white fox clan leader's blue eyes were filled with tears as she spoke with a bitter expression. Wasn't this the rhythm of being abandoned? It understood. Chapter 23:31. The White Tiger Race's Jittery State. 1. Yup. I'm asking you to stay here to guard the floating cloud mountain. This is your territory after all. Are you willing to give it up so easily? Lung Ruashua glanced at the aggrieved White Fox Clan leader and smiled. Give up on this place? Of course, the White Fox Clan leader was not willing to do so. However, if staying here meant that she could not be by her master's side, she would have to think about it carefully. That was why it felt so conflicted. However, the Wolf Tribe leader and the Bear Tribe leader were not like that. To them, it didn't matter where they stayed. It would be even better if they could stay in a place they were familiar with. Therefore, the two of them were very satisfied with Lung Ruaksha's suggestion. They were staying here to protect their original territory. Otherwise, once they left, this place might be immediately occupied by foreign beasts. If that happened, wouldn't all their years and generations of beast management go to waste? I will treat this place as my own branch in the future. Therefore, this place naturally needs someone to guard it. Of course, you will only be staying here temporarily. When you have cultivated an heir and can take charge of things on your own, you can decide whether you want to continue staying here or follow me. But at this stage, this place needs you very much. Lung Ruashua continued when she saw that the three divine beasts did not say anything. Upon hearing this, the wolf and bear tribe leaders took the lead to express their willingness to stay here. The white fox tribe leader, who had been struggling for a long time, also expressed his willingness to stay here and guard the territory for his master after careful consideration. However, he did not forget to emphasize that he was only staying here temporarily. After listening to the three divine beasts, Lung Ruashua nodded her head in satisfaction. Then, she let the three divine beasts acknowledge her as their master before leaving the floating clouds mountain with her group of people. Even after Lung Ruashua and the others had walked far away, the White Fox Clan leader was still looking in the direction of Lung Ruashua and the others with tears in her eyes. She sobbed, "Master, wait for me. He'll be there soon. Aren't you afraid of getting beaten up again?" Hearing this, the Wolf Clan's chief raised his eyebrows and said with a smirk, The White Fox Clan leader was filled with hatred when she heard this. This damned old wolf was really rubbing it in. It had almost forgotten about this matter, but it still had to remind it. It was really hateful, annoying, and hateful. Little white fox, I think it's safer for you to stay in Floating Clouds Mountain. You're a master's man or beast. You can't afford to offend any of them. At this time, Chief Xiong also reminded him with a kind face. Hearing this, the White Fox Clan leader became even more indignant. Had these two detestable fellows been bribed so quickly? He didn't even care about their many years of friendship. It was really too sad. The White Fox Clan leader felt indignant. Seeing this, the Wolf Clan leader and the Bear Clan leader patted its shoulder helplessly. The two of them then returned to their respective stations. They would be busy in the future. After the unification of the Floating Clouds Mountain, everyone would be as close as a family in the future. Naturally, there would be fewer conflicts. However, in this case, how to cultivate the fighting spirit of the beast would become their top priority every day. Other than that, it was not appropriate for them to reveal the fact that they had acknowledged Lung Ruashua as their master. Otherwise, the Floating Clouds Mountain would probably be attacked by the other beasts. When the wolf and bear tribe leaders thought of this, they felt that they had a heavy responsibility on their shoulders. They had a long way to go. Of course, the White Fox tribe leader, who was originally the leader of the three beasts, was ignored by them at this time. That old man was currently in the midst of a breakup and was not in a normal state of mind. Naturally, they could not count on him. Thanks after Lung Ruashua and the rest left the Floating Cloud Mountain, They headed straight for the Snow Fox clan's territory, the Longevity Mountain. The Longevity Mountain was a snow mountain that had existed for 10,000 years. It was located to the north of the Divine Realm. Although it wasn't a land of bitter cold, the temperature there was extremely low all year round. It was the most suitable place for magical beasts that loved the cold to settle down. However, the White Tiger tribe was the largest power there. Thus, all the magical beasts that lived there were inextricably linked to the White Tiger tribe. To put it bluntly, they were the vassals of the White Tiger tribe. However, what attracted Lung Roashua the most was not the Snow Fox race or the White Tiger race. Instead, it was the supreme grade cold attribute herbs there. Among them, the most expensive and most representative was, of course, the snow lotus. A snow lotus was naturally on a 10,000-year-old snow mountain. Jiangning and the other alchemists were quite excited about it. It should be known that when they needed snow lotuses, they would have to spend a lot of money to buy them or exchange them with the beasts living in the cold lands. Now that they could personally visit the snow mountain, they naturally wouldn't let this great opportunity go. However, Old Leopard didn't agree with their whimsical idea. The kind old leopard even reminded them tactfully, Snow Lotus, even if there's one, it's most likely already in the bag of the White Tiger race. Hence, I advise you all not to have too much hope. Leopard tribe leader, you're overthinking it. All natural treasures can only be obtained by those who are fated to. Although the White Tiger tribe is the local tyrant, the snow lotus that has gained sentience over 10,000 years ago might not be theirs. Lung Roashua was full of confidence as she smiled. Jiang Ning and the others agreed with her. But Old Leopard was speechless. Was a snow lotus that was over 10,000 years old that easy to encounter? It had lived for so many years, but had never heard of a 10,000-year snow lotus in the immortal realm. Looking at their confident looks, Old Leopard suddenly felt that it was useless to say more. These people would not listen to him at all. Therefore, after reminding them, Old Leopard shut his mouth. Half a month later, Lung Roashua and the rest finally arrived near Longevity Mountain after a long and arduous journey. Even though they had yet to reach Longevity Mountain, Lung Roashua could already feel the temperature around her drop by quite a bit. She sent most of the people back to their houses, leaving behind only evildoer, Song, Uncle Long, and Jiang Ning, who had strongly requested to stay outside. In Jiang Ning's words, he was the vice president of the Alchemist Guild headquarters. If he were to encounter people from the White Tiger race, his identity would be very useful. He could definitely cover for them for a while. Actually, when she heard Jiang Ning's words, Lung Roashua really wanted to tell him that she didn't only have one vice president of the Alchemist Guild headquarters by her side. Therefore, he wasn't the only person who could remain outside. However, she knew how thick Jiang Ning's skin was, and it wasn't like Lu Yue and Shenhua would fight with him over it. Thus, she only thought about it in her heart and didn't say it out loud. Following that, Lung Roashua carried Song, and the four of them walked towards the Longevity Mountain. After half a day, Lung Roashua and the rest arrived at the foot of the Longevity Mountain. The temperature there was even lower. Jiang Ning was so cold that his entire body was shivering. Seeing him in this state, Lung Roashua advised him out of goodwill, "How about?" However, before she could finish her sentence, she was interrupted by Jiang Ning. "I'm fine. I just can't get used to it." Jiang Ning knew what Lung Roashua wanted to say and quickly replied. Although he was afraid of the cold, he would rather stay outside and search for medicinal herbs. After all, not everyone had the chance to come to the territory of the magical beasts. Furthermore, this was the base camp of the White Tiger clan, one of the four great kings of the Divine Realm. He didn't want to miss this opportunity. Chapter 2332. The White Tiger Race's Jittery State 2. If you can't stand the cold, just say it. Don't force yourself. Seeing this, Lung Roashua had no choice but to speak up. Although she didn't understand why Jiang Ning was so insistent, she respected his decision. Hearing this, Jiang Ning nodded. Then, he put on a layer of defense, and suddenly felt much warmer. "Where do we get in?" After he felt better, Jiangning couldn't help but ask. "Of course, well, walk in," Lung Roashua said with a smile. "Ah, of course, I know that we have to walk in. What I want to ask is, how are we going and where are we going?" Jiangning was speechless. He couldn't just walk in like this, could he? This was the White Tiger race's territory. If they were to enter just like that, they might be surrounded and attacked by the White Tiger race. Thinking up to this point, Jiangning couldn't help but take another look at Lung Ruoxu's beautiful face. There was no one in the divine world who didn't know of her face. Therefore, this little girl didn't even bother to disguise herself. If they really went in like this, the White Tiger race might just appear after a few steps. Jiangning couldn't help but cover his face. He was very suspicious that this girl was here to provoke him. However, such a bold and open provoker was rare in the immortal realm. In reality, the truth was revealed in Jiangning. Since Lung Ruoxua had come here, she naturally didn't want to be sneaky. From the start, she had never thought of hiding her identity. She felt that since she was already here, no matter what identity they had, they would definitely have a conflict with the White Tiger race. Unless the White Tiger race turned a blind eye to their arrival, pretending not to know anything. But with the White Tiger race's status, was that even possible? Since it was impossible, why should she be so careful? She might as well just swagger in. The current Lung Ruoxua would never have thought that the White Tiger race would be so conflicted because of their sudden arrival. Follow this path and go straight in. Lung Ruoxua smiled faintly, then pointed to a flat and wide road in front of them. This road should be the official road leading to the top of Longevity Mountain. It was also said that only guests who were invited to the White Tiger race would leave. Although they weren't invited guests, the White Tiger race shouldn't say anything about it. That was what Lung Ruoxua thought, but not Jiangning. Looking at the path that Lung Ruoxua was pointing at, cold sweat started to flow down Jiangning's forehead. This was the rhythm of courting death. "Did you? You're afraid that the White Tiger race doesn't know that we're here and want to send a message?" Jiangning was speechless. According to his understanding, shouldn't they have sneaked up the mountain and first looked for snow lotuses? Then they would quietly take care of the Snow Fox tribe and slip down the mountain? However, from the looks of it, Lung Ruoxua didn't want to act secretly at all. Instead, she had the intention to make a big move. Such a fact made him unable to accept it. It made him even more suspicious. Was it because he was getting old? Was that why there was a generation gap between him and these young people? Thanks, how can that be? I just feel that since we've come to the Longevity Mountain, it won't be easy to hide from the White Tiger race. Since that's the case, why should we let ourselves suffer? Besides, don't forget that we still have to find Shuel Yin. Do you really think that the White Tiger race wouldn't know anything about an outsider wandering around the myriad Longevity Mountain? Lung Ruoxua explained with a smile. After hearing what Lung Ruoxua said, even though Jiangning felt that it made sense, he still felt that something was amiss. However, he could not figure out what it was at the moment, so he could only let Lung Ruoxua lead him by the nose. Seeing that Jiangning had nodded, Lung Ruoxua waved her hand and said, "Let's go." With that, Lung Ruoxua pulled the evildoer along and walked to the front. This road was worthy of being the official road leading to the peak of Longevity Mountain. It was wide and flat. Although the road was covered with ice and snow, it was not slippery at all. Lung Ruoxua walked with ease. However, she could also keenly sense that a few pairs of eyes were watching them. However, she acted as if she did not notice anything and continued to walk calmly. On the other hand, Jiangning wasn't as calm as she was. Along the way, Jiangning's nerves had been tense, and he had to look around vigilantly from time to time. When Uncle Long saw this, he patted Jiangning's shoulder and said, "Sir Jiangning, there's no need to be so nervous. Just follow Shui. You'll be safe." "Oh." Jiangning nodded absent-mindedly, but his eyes were still alert. At this moment, the roar of a tiger rang out from the snowy mountain again. He warned in a threatening manner, "Shui, we've been discovered. Sir Jiangning, it's just a tiger howling at the top of its lungs. It might want to fight, or it might be courting. So, you don't have to be nervous." We haven't been discovered. Lung Ruashua lied with her eyes wide open. In reality, the white tiger race had been watching them for a long time. It was just that they had not taken any action yet. Hence, she had pretended not to know. Jiangning was speechless when he heard these words that were obviously trying to fool him. Was he that stupid that he couldn't even tell whether it was a message, a fight, or a courtship? However, seeing that Lung Ruashua didn't seem to mind, he could only act like he didn't care. After all, with his status, even if the white tiger race discovered them, they probably wouldn't dare to do anything to them. After thinking like this, he finally calmed down. After Jiangning returned to normal, Lung Ruashue and the other three became more casual. It was as if they had really come to the Longevity Mountain for a tour. They looked here and there without any fixed route. Naturally, the White Tiger Race's scouts had also reported back to the White Tiger Race about their method of travel. The highest peak of the Longevity Mountain was also the White Tiger Race's base. At this moment, everyone from the White Tiger King to the elders of the White Tiger Race had gathered in the White Tiger Race's conference room. Furthermore, all of them had grave expressions on their faces, and the atmosphere was extremely heavy. At the very start, no one spoke. But after hearing the reports from the White Tiger Race's scouts time and time again, the White Tiger Race's Grand Elder finally couldn't sit still any longer. Your Majesty, since that Lung Ruashua has come to the Longevity Mountain, why didn't she come to the White Tiger Race's encampment? Could it be that you're not here to take revenge? The first elder said with a worried expression. He knew more about the grudges between the clan and Lung Ruashua. Hence, he was nervous about Lung Ruakshu's sudden arrival. The reason for his nervousness was not entirely because of Lung Ruashua, but more importantly, the Totoro by her side. The Totoro, whose identity they still could not figure out, had dared to destroy the Divine Lord's estate, and twice at that. They could not help but be wary. The White Tiger Race's base was not as sturdy as the God Lord's estate. Great Elder, what are you saying? Do we have a grudge against that human, Lung Ruashua? Why did she come to us for revenge? If he wanted to find someone, he should find God, Lord Mist Ripple. You can find us. As soon as the Grand Elder's words fell, a voice of opposition immediately rang out. The person who spoke was the Grand Elder's archenemy, the second elder of the White Tiger Race. This old white tiger had a one-sided belief that their White Tiger Race did not have any direct conflict with Lung Ruashua. Therefore, they could not be considered her enemies. At least, compared to God Lord Fog Deep, the little things that the White Tiger Race had done were nothing. Chapter 2333. The White Tiger Race's Jittery State. 3. As for the matter from hundreds of thousands of years ago, the White Tiger didn't think that it had much to do with his White Tiger Race. According to what he had heard from his elders, they had only attacked their own clansmen and hadn't even touched a single hair on Lord Yes' head. The one who had killed Lord Yu was God Lord Fogripple. Therefore, this debt could not be counted on their heads. It was precisely because of this reason that the old white tiger would naturally assume that they did not have any deep grudges with Lung Ruashue. The people they had sent to attack Lung Ruakshu's group could also be seen as being coerced by God Lord Fogripple. They were also victims because the two reverent god-level experts they had sent had yet to recover from their injuries. Unfortunately, this old white tiger's thoughts were very good, but would the reality really be as he wished? The answer was no. Even if they did not directly attack Master Yu that year, they could not escape the fact that they were Wu Xian's accomplices. Hence, it was impossible for Lung Ruashue to let go of what happened that year and act as if nothing had happened. However, the current Lung Ruashue naturally didn't know what these old white tigers were thinking. Otherwise, she would have scoffed at them. And at this moment, after hearing the second elder's words, the White Tiger Race's first elder was rather speechless towards the second elder's thoughts. To deceive himself to this extent, first elder didn't know what to say. Therefore, he simply remained silent and did not argue with the second elder. Otherwise, he would definitely be angered to death by this pestering old man. At this time, the White Tiger King, who was sitting at the top, said impatiently, "I didn't ask you to come here to talk about this. I just want you to think about it. If Lung Ruoxue comes knocking on our door, what should we do? What else can I do? Of course, he would fight back. If not, the outside world will definitely think that our white tiger race is easy to bully. So, Your Majesty, if Lung Ruoxue really makes a move, we can't hold back either. Otherwise, where would the dignity of our white tiger race be? When the second elder heard this, he quickly said in a high-spirited manner, "Fight back? All right, I'll leave the Totoro to you." The White Tiger King said to the second elder. However, he couldn't help but curse in his heart. If it wasn't for the Totoro, he would have attacked Lung Ruoxue long ago. Would he have allowed them to swagger into his territory? However, when he heard from a spy that Lung Ruoxue was carrying a Totoro, he dispelled that thought and hid in his clan. It wasn't that he didn't want to make a move, but he wasn't confident that he could defeat that small, unremarkable Totoro. Even God, Lord Mist Ripple, could only turn a blind eye to the Totoro, much less him. However, the White Tiger King was even more regretful that it had gathered these elders to discuss a plan. None of these old things could do anything. As for the second elder, who was originally in high spirits, he was dumbfounded after hearing his king's words. He didn't want to deal with that Totoro. Everyone in the divine realm was already familiar with the great name of that Totoro. As the second elder of the White Tiger clan, what he knew would only be more than others, and definitely not less than others. Thus, he naturally had an additional layer of fear towards that Totoro. Now that he heard the king say this, the second elder wanted to just faint. Glancing at the second elder's cowardly appearance, the White Tiger King snorted coldly and ordered, "Continue to send people to monitor Lung Ruoxue's group closely. If there are any changes, report immediately." With that, the White Tiger King left the group of elders present and turned to leave. The White Tiger spies who received the order naturally paid more attention to Lung Ruoxue and the rest. However, none of the White Tigers dared to make a move. As for Lung Ruoxue and the rest, they naturally continued with their own business. They had no idea about the White Tiger race's jittery behavior. However, even if Lung Ruoxue knew about it, she would probably just laugh it off. After all, their target this time was the Snow Fox tribe. Although she really wanted to wipe out the White Tiger race, the four great Beast Kings were all on the same side at critical moments. Lung Ruoxue didn't want to go up against all four of them at the same time, and the timing wasn't right either. If by any chance she gave Fo Xian another opportunity, she would be depressed to death. Hence, he could only let the White Tiger race off this time. Of course, if the White Tiger race delivered themselves to her doorstep, she wouldn't mind. It was a pity that the White Tiger race didn't know what she was thinking. Hence, from the moment she ascended the mountain, the White Tiger race had already been on high alert. Thanks Lung Ruoxue and the rest wandered around Longevity Mountain for a few days. Although they came up empty-handed, they were not discouraged. The Snow Lotus was not easy to find. When they were resting, Lung Ruoxue even took out a house and placed it on the empty ground. After that, the four of them entered the house. This scene was naturally reported to the White Tiger race by the spies. When they had nothing to do, Lung Ruoxue would invite everyone to go hunting in the mountains. Even though many small animals were hibernating, they could still catch some small rabbits. However, as the Grand Elder and the others continued to enter and leave, the eyes of the White Tiger race's scouts couldn't even keep up with them. When the White Tiger King received the news, it gritted its teeth in hatred. Fuck! How many people did the other party have? With that house, the White Tiger King had no way to determine the number of people on the other side. Naturally, he was even more vigilant towards Lung Ruoxue and her group. He also passed down orders for his clansmen to stay away from Lung Ruoxue and her group and not to provoke them for no reason. In an instant, other than the spies who were still secretly monitoring Lung Ruoxue and her group, all the clansmen of the White Tiger race obediently stayed in their encampment. Even though Lung Ruoxue was not sure of the White Tiger King's orders, she could clearly feel that the number of gazes on them had decreased significantly after living on the Longevity Mountain for a few days. On a certain day, Lung Ruoxue was still leading the team around the snowy mountain. Old Leopard, who could now walk out openly, could not help but ask, "Little girl, you still haven't given up after searching for so many days? Even if there is a snow lotus on the Longevity Mountain, it's most likely in the hands of the White Tiger tribe. So, if you really want to find the snow lotus, I think it's better for you to go rob the White Tiger tribe. That would be much faster." Rob the White Tiger race? That's a good idea. Lung Ruoxue agreed with Old Leopard's words. However, the old leopard who made the suggestion was speechless because he had only said it casually. He had no intention of letting Lung Ruoxue rob the other party. In the old leopard's heart, the White Tiger race was a colossus that no one would dare to provoke. However, he had clearly underestimated Lung Ruoxue's courage. He thought about it and realized that this girl did not even care about the Divine Lord's estate. She had no reason to be afraid of the White Tiger race. With this idea in mind, Old Leopard truly felt that it was a good idea. Although it felt that its idea was good, the White Tiger King, who had received the report from its spies, gritted its teeth in hatred. "You bastard!" That audacious old leopard had actually suggested Lung Ruoxue to rob their White Tiger race. He must be tired of living. However, that detestable old leopard was with Lung Ruoxue. Hence, he really did not dare to do anything to him. However, it was even more impossible for him to let Lung Ruoxue and the others rob him. The White Tiger King was so anxious that it was pacing back and forth in its own palace. He had also heard of Lung Ruoxue's infamous reputation as a bandit. Hence, he was truly afraid that Lung Ruoxue would do what the old leopard had suggested and rob him. No, he had to come up with a good plan. He could not let Lung Ruoxue have the treasures that he had kept for so many years. Just the thought of it made his heart ache. If that wretched girl really came to rob him, he would be so heartbroken that he would vomit blood. Looking at how his king was so anxious that the floor was about to be worn out, the White Tiger race's first elder, who had hesitated for a long time, cut off all means of retreat and opened his mouth. "King, calm down. Since Lung Ruoxue and the rest are looking for snow lotuses, why don't we give them a few? As long as she doesn't come to find trouble with us. What's the harm in giving her a few snow lotuses? Moreover, perhaps after obtaining the snow lotus, their group will take the initiative to leave. At that time, our clan will be safe. Are you saying that I should give them a few snow lotuses to send them away?" After hearing the great elder's words, the White Tiger King repeated. Although he was still unable to confirm the true purpose of Lung Ruoxue and the others' visit, he at least knew that they were only wandering around the snowy mountain for the snow lotus. However, what if they didn't come to the Longevity Mountain just for the snow lotus? Or rather, if they still refused to leave after getting the snow lotus, what would they do then? The White Tiger King was in a dilemma. Although he wanted to agree with the first elder, he could not completely put his heart at ease. He was even more afraid that those people would not leave even after taking the snow lotus. If that happened, he would not be able to get rid of the disaster, even if he lost all his money. "Your Majesty, we can't be sure of Lung Ruoxue and the rest's true motive. Furthermore, they are currently searching the entire mountain for the snow lotus. Hence, we can only give it a try. If they leave now, that would be for the best. If they don't leave, that would be enough to prove that they have other plans. It would be easier for us to make early preparations. What do you think?" The great elder understood the White Tiger King's intentions. However, they had no other choice but to test him. They could only ask Lung Ruoxue personally. However, that was obviously unrealistic. "AI, all right, well, do as you say. But who's going to send them the snow lotus?" The White Tiger King muttered to himself for a moment before he agreed. However, the person who would be sending the snow lotus to Lung Ruoxue was giving him a huge headache. "No one's going to send him off," the great elder said. "What?" The White Tiger King's face was filled with question marks. It didn't quite understand what the first elder meant. Chapter 2334. The Ferret Tribe was wiped out. 1. It's best if we don't let Lung Ruoxue and the others know that we've already discovered their existence. Hence, we only need to place the snow lotus on a fixed cliff and wait for them to discover it. There's no need for us to appear. The Great Elder said slowly as he looked at the White Tiger King's confused face. Will this work? The White Tiger King asked suspiciously. All right, why not? We won't be too deliberate in doing this, so they won't know. What we need to do is to find a way for them to discover the snow lotuses we placed. The First Elder said with absolute certainty. I see. Great Elder. Who do you think is the most reliable person to handle this matter? The White Tiger King furrowed its brows again. If this matter was to be handled well and secretively, not allowing Lung Ruoxue and the others to discover any clues, then the person who did this must not be too weak. Otherwise, all their efforts would be in vain. Your Majesty, they'll go personally. First Elder thought for a moment. He wouldn't be at ease if he let someone else handle this matter. Then he'll have to trouble Great Elder. The White Tiger King nodded in satisfaction after listening to the First Elder. Then, First Elder turned around and left. In the next few days, Lung Ruoxue and the rest discovered snow lotuses one after another. Even though the snow lotuses were not very old, to Lung Ruoxue, the age was not really that important. After finding the snow lotus, Old Leopard also shut his mouth. However, the suspicion on its face didn't ease. Instead, it became even more serious. It was so strange. They had been searching in the snow mountain for several days, but they had not found even a leaf of the snow lotus. However, they had found several snow lotus in the past few days. Old Leopard would never believe that they were so lucky. This was because it was impossible for such a thing to happen on the Longevity Mountain. However, in order not to dispel the enthusiasm of Lung Ruoxue and the rest, it did not voice out its suspicions. However, the serious expression on its face could not be hidden from Lung Ruoxue. Lung Ruoxue sat in the garden, admiring the old leopard's frowning face in the corner. She was in a very good mood. Ugh, would she be too disloyal? He was actually treating Old Leopard's sorrow as a joke. However, she didn't tell Old Leopard the origin of the snow lotus, because she found that Old Leopard's frowning and thinking look was so lovely. At this moment, Jiangning walked over to Lung Ruoxue and suggested with a drooling expression, Shui, our harvest these past few days has been quite bountiful. I think we can wander around the snow mountain for a few more days, and maybe we can find more snow lotuses. You still want to spin? I think we should stop while we're ahead. Hearing this, Old Leopard stood up and said, Why? It wasn't easy for us to have some gains these past 2 days. It's such a pity to give up like this. Jiang Ning said disapprovingly. It was better to treat him as a greedy person because such an opportunity was too rare. If you don't give up, you might attract the attention of the White Tiger race. At that time, you won't be able to smile anymore if you're surrounded. Old Leopard glanced at Jiang Ning and said indifferently, Shui, or what do you think? Jiang Ning didn't agree with Old Leopard's words. Therefore, he turned his gaze to Lung Ruoxue and asked for her opinion. I feel that if we want to find snow lotus again, we can only go and rob the White Tiger race. Lung Ruoxue deliberately paused for a moment before she smiled. Thanks, Both Old Leopard and Jiang Ning were speechless. Could the White Tiger race be robbed so easily? However, Jiang Ning couldn't deny that it was a good idea. The Old Leopard was more uneasy, for he didn't know whether it was the right idea. However, if Lung Ruoxue really wanted to rob the White Tiger race, it would definitely be the main culprit. I'm just joking. I don't have any plans to provoke the White Tiger race right now. Of course, if they take the initiative to provoke me, then it's none of my business. Lung Ruoxue's beautiful eyes swept across the two of them as she smiled. I think that the White Tiger race wouldn't want to come and provoke you. After hearing these words, Jiang Ning said with certainty, it had already been so many days. If the White Tiger race wanted to appear, they would have done so long ago. How could they still tolerate them wandering around the Longevity Mountain? Maybe. Lung Ruoxue nodded and continued. Let's rest for today and continue tomorrow. This place shouldn't be far from the Snow Fox tribe. Schwer, what do you plan to do with the Snow Fox race? Jiang Ning couldn't help asking. Snow Shadow can do whatever he wants. Lung Ruoxue said calmly. The relaxed tone in her voice made Jiang Ning feel like he was about to break out in cold sweat. If we were to cause trouble for the Snow Fox tribe, I wonder if the White Tiger tribe would step in to help us. Jiang Ning asked curiously. You'll know when the time comes. Lung Ruoxua chuckled. All right then. Jiang Ning nodded helplessly, but he was really curious. However, when he saw Tsang sleeping in Lung Ruoxua's arms, he couldn't help but feel sympathy for the White Tiger race. With this person around, if the White Tiger race really made a move, they probably wouldn't be able to gain any advantage. As he thought of this, Jiang Ning started to gloat. Although he had seen quite a few interesting things recently, he still felt that the beasts were not of a high enough grade. Hence, he was looking forward to the battle between the best beasts in the divine world and Lung Ruoxua's group. It would surely be very exciting. The next morning, Lung Ruoxua and the rest set off as scheduled. In the morning, the temperature on Longevity Mountain was very low. Many people around Lung Ruoxua didn't like the cold weather. Thus, the group that set off still only had Lung Ruoxua, the demon, Uncle Long, Jiang Ning, and Tsang. After walking around the Longevity Mountain for a few days, they had left their footprints in almost half of the mountain. Now, they were gradually approaching the territory of the magical beasts. Shui, the ferret tribe's territory, should be up ahead. Uncle Long pointed to a place not far away. The ferret clan? How's his strength? Lung Ruoxua asked with a smile. Its strength is very ordinary. However, the ferret wins in cuteness. Therefore, it is the favorite pet of many women in the divinity. Uncle Long explained. So, the ferret can be sold for money? Lung Ruoxua asked with great interest. Yes. However, the Snow Ferret tribe is under the protection of the White Tiger tribe. Therefore, there aren't many humans who dare to take the risk to capture them. Uncle Long's forehead was full of black lines. As he said this, he couldn't help but wonder if Shui wanted to catch a ferret and sell it for money. In the eyes of others, the ferret might be able to fetch a good price. However, to Lung Ruoxua, that small amount of money was not even worth looking at. Oh, really? Then I'll go and try. Hearing this, Lung Ruoxua laughed evilly. However, Uncle Long and the rest understood what she meant. Shui wanted to use the ferret tribe to test the reaction of the White Tiger tribe. Chapter 2335. The ferret tribe was wiped out to AI. The pitiful White Tiger race. Unless you stay at home, you'll definitely be the unlucky ones. Such a fact caused Uncle Long's heart to surge with sympathy for the White Tiger race. No one had it easy. Uncle Long sighed. After Lung Ruoxua made her decision, she took the lead and entered the ferret clan's territory. However, what made her speechless was that she had almost walked through the entire ferret tribe's territory, but there was not a single ferret to be found. Are the ferrets hibernating? Lung Ruoxua turned around and asked Uncle Long and the others in frustration. Maybe. Uncle Long said hesitantly. Could he say that the ferrets might have hidden themselves? Girl, it doesn't matter if they're hibernating or not. We just need to find their cave. We can definitely catch them there. Song Qing raised his eyes and suggested. What does a ferret's cave look like? Lung Ruoxua asked with a face full of question marks. Do you see the small snow hills on the snow? There should be a ferret's cave at the bottom of each hill. Azure pointed to a small pile of snow not far away. Song had only wanted to tell Lung Ruoxua how to find a ferret, but little did he know that his guidance had caused the trembling ferrets in their caves to grit their teeth in hatred. Although these ferrets had never left their caves, they were very clear about the activities of Lung Ruoxua and the rest on the Longevity Mountain. Furthermore, they had also received a warning from the White Tiger race to stay at home and not go out. This was because the White Tiger race had already made it clear that if a ferret fell into Lung Ruoxua's hands, they would not come out to save them. As such, the timid ferret clan did not dare to run around. Hence, ever since Lung Ruoxua ascended the snow mountain, they had been hiding obediently in their own caves. They had also heard everything Lung Ruoxua had said outside their territory, so they did not dare to show their faces. Unfortunately, even if they did not show their faces, it did not mean that Lung Ruoxue and the others would not take the initiative to find trouble with them. They were clearly hiding well and didn't provoke anyone, but they still suffered an undeserved disaster. You bastard! Was it because they were cute? All the ferrets were enraged. It wasn't their fault that they were cute, so why should they bear the terrible consequences? At this moment, all the ferrets wished that they were born ugly. At least, that way, humans would not be interested in them. However, it seemed like it was too late to think about that now. Lung Ruoxue, who was under Tsang's guidance, had already taken out a small shovel and started to dig into a small snow pile. There was a family of 3 living in the pile of snow. At that moment, they could hear the creaking sounds coming from above their house. They were so frightened that their small, snow-white bodies began to tremble. "My dear, take the child and hide. Let me handle this human," the trembling male ferret said to his beloved wife with an affectionate look. "No, my dear, if we're going to die, we'll die together," the female ferret firmly opposed. How could she let her husband face the hateful human alone? "Thanks, our child is still young. Don't be so stubborn," the male ferret advised. "My dear, if you want to run, let's run together," the female ferret said with a determined look. "All right then, if we can escape this." Before the male ferret could finish his sentence, he suddenly felt the ice above his head collapse. His expression changed, and he shouted, "My dear, run!" This human was so fast at digging. In just a short while, they had already dug their way to their home. This made the male ferret extremely frightened. Without even thinking, he immediately urged his wife to leave with their child. He ran at the back to protect them. The male ferret knew that the situation was urgent, so it was anxious. After urging his beloved wife, it also ran away. Unfortunately, it only ran 2 steps before it realized that it was hanging in the air. Then, it clearly felt that its tail was grabbed by someone, and soon, it was hanging upside down. "I caught one as expected." Lung Ruoxue looked at the struggling ferret and smiled. "Human, quickly let me go, or else. The male ferret was scared witless, but it still gathered its courage and tried to threaten Lung Ruoxue. However, it could not finish its sentence. Woo-woo. These humans were really bullying the ferret. Any one of them gave it a lot of pressure. The male ferret was so sad and angry that he couldn't say anything. However, knowing that his beloved wife and son had run away, he was still quite relieved. It was just that it had just been married not long ago and was a father for the first time, so it was very reluctant to part with its wife and children. But as long as his wife and children were safe, it felt that even if it was caught, it was nothing. And now, its only hope was that its wife and child could escape this calamity. As she looked at the fearsome ferret, who was suddenly choked with sobs and could not speak, with tears in its blue eyes, Lung Ruoxue suddenly felt that she had gone a little too far. In fact, she just wanted to scare these ferrets. Unfortunately, these ferrets didn't know. Lung Ruoxue couldn't help but sigh as she looked at the beautiful and cute ferret with tears in its eyes. She had always been at her wits' end when it came to cute little beasts. However, now was obviously not the time for her to be sympathetic. Hence, Lung Ruoxue's words were still as evil as ever. "This fur is not bad. If I catch a few more ferrets, it will be enough to make a coat for me." Lung Ruoxue's jade-white hand caressed the furious ferret as she praised it. The little ferret in her hand was only slightly bigger than an adult's palm, but its tail was twice the size of its body. Furthermore, its fur was snow-white and soft to the touch. Lung Ruoxue couldn't bear to let go of it. However, her words made the male ferret want to kill itself and destroy its fur so that the human woman could not get it. However, it could only think about it, as it could not move at all. Even if it wanted to commit suicide, it did not have the ability. "You want to make a coat, so we'll catch all of these ferrets in one fell swoop." Hearing Lung Ruoxue's words, Tsang chimed in with a smile. Don't, just kill me. Don't harm my clansmen." The male ferret roared in response. You're really willing to sacrifice yourself for others." When she heard this, Lung Ruoxue was rather surprised. She really couldn't tell. The little ferret actually had such courage. When the male ferret heard Lung Ruoxue's words, it felt aggrieved and its tears began to flow. It was not that noble, and it did not want to sacrifice itself for others. It was all for its wife and children. Kill us too. Suddenly, a gentle voice interrupted. Lung Ruoxue looked in the direction of the voice and saw a ferret that was slightly smaller than the one in her hand. It was standing not too far away with tears in its eyes, looking at the ferret in her hand with deep affection. On the ferret's back, there was an even smaller ferret. Chapter 2336. The ferret tribe was wiped out. 3. Ugh. Could this be a family? Just as Lung Ruoxue was thinking of this, she felt the ferret in her hand struggling with an agitated expression. It was even shouting, "My dear, what are you doing back here? These humans are all demons. They won't let us go. Run." These words made Lung Ruoxue's forehead fill with black lines. Did she overdo it? She seemed to have only scared the ferret a little, but it actually thought she was a demon. However, so be it if he was a demon. She wanted to see how the other ferret would react. "My dear, I'm not leaving. If we're going to die, we'll die together. Woo, without you, how are we going to live?" The female ferret seemed to have made a huge decision, as if she was ready to die. The male ferret, on the other hand, was extremely anxious after hearing his wife's words. You fool! Our child was just born not long ago. Can you bear to see it die with us at such a young age?" The male ferret roared angrily. I don't care. In my heart, you are the most important." The female ferret was obviously a beastie who would forget her child when she saw a woman. Therefore, she made a clear choice. When the male ferret heard this, he was extremely touched. However, before he could continue to persuade her, the crying female ferret threw herself into his arms and wailed, "Woo! My dear, how can I live without you?" Hearing such affectionate words, the male ferret hugged his wife tightly, and the two ferrets cried bitterly. At this moment, the two ferrets that were hugging each other and crying had not realized that Lung Ruoxue had already let go of the male ferret. The two of them were immersed in their own sorrow, and the ferret cub on the female ferret's back had been completely ignored by the couple. The little ferret was staring at its parents, Lung Ruoxue, and the rest with its big blue eyes that were filled with confusion and helplessness. Seeing how adorable the ferret cub was, Lung Ruoxue could not help but hug it in her arms. She said lovingly, "Poor little guy, it seems like your parents only want love and don't want you anymore." Even though the little ferret cub didn't quite understand Lung Ruoxue's words, it could feel Lung Ruoxue's kindness. Hence, it wasn't as repulsed and afraid of Lung Ruoxue as its parents. On the contrary, it was very close to Lung Ruoxue. After the initial fear, the little fellow happily started playing with Lung Ruoxue. The ferret couple, who had just realized what was going on, also felt that something was amiss after crying. It was only then that they realized that their child had fallen into Lung Ruoxue's hands. "Please return the child to me," the female ferret pleaded with tears in her eyes. "Return it to you? Do you want a husband or a child?" Lung Ruoxue asked with a smile. The female ferret was anxious, but she stammered and could not say a complete sentence. In fact, if she wanted to say it, she would. However, it was afraid that its greed would anger these humans, so it didn't dare to voice its thoughts. "I want children. They'll trade for my child's safety." The male ferret saw his wife hesitating and immediately said, "But I like this little guy more. What should I do?" Lung Ruoxue pretended to be in a difficult position. When the ferret couple heard Lung Ruoxue's words, they looked at each other and felt the determination in their beloved wife's eyes. Then the male ferret said, "Then please arrest all three of us. Please don't separate us. Even if we die, we will die together. If you want to sell us, please sell us to the same person." This was the only request of the male ferret. It knew that if it didn't leave, his beloved wife would never leave. Since that was the case, then let the three of them be together forever. That's a good idea. Lung Roashu nodded her head in agreement to the male ferret's request. When the male ferret saw this, he immediately pulled his wife and obediently stayed by Lung Roashu's feet. At this moment, he had no intention of running away. After all, his child was in the hands of the other party. However, how could that heartless child have such a good time playing with Lung Roashu? The male ferret muttered to himself. After playing with the young ferret for a while, Lung Roashu smiled at the male ferret and said, "Your child is much cuter than you and your wife." At least he wasn't afraid of her. These words caused the male ferret to close its eyes slightly. It did not give much of a reaction to Lung Roashu, but it was quite proud of its own child. Lung Roashu could see the smugness in the male ferret's heart. She raised her eyebrows and ordered, "Go and call out all of your ferret tribesmen. What do you want to do?" Hearing this, the male ferret immediately became alert again, and the anger in its heart grew. Damn humans, wasn't capturing their family of 3 enough? He actually wanted to target the other members of their ferret clan. He had really gone too far. "Thanks, what do you think?" Lung Roashu laughed as she retorted. She suddenly realized that it was rather interesting to see this ferret's fur standing on end. "Human, please show mercy and let my people go." The furious ferret suddenly retracted its sharp claws and changed to a sorrowful tactic. "What if I refuse?" "Little ferret, do you want me to do it myself?" Lung Roashu said with a straight face on purpose. "You'll do it yourself? Then wouldn't our ferret clan suffer heavy losses?" The male ferret thought to himself angrily, then finally compromised. "I can let my tribesmen come out to see you, but can you promise not to hurt them?" The male ferret started to talk about the conditions. After a brief interaction with Lung Roashu, it realized that it was reasonable to talk to this human. Hence, it wanted to fight for the benefits of its own tribe. After all, it felt that it was the one who had harmed them. "If they're tactful and willing to take the initiative to leave with me, of course I won't hurt them," Lung Roashu said honestly. The male ferret wanted to cry, but no tears came out. It knew that this human had ill intentions towards them and wanted to sell them off. Of course, selling them off was still a good thing, but they were afraid that this human would still have ideas about their fur. At that time, they might even lose their lives. In its heart, Lung Roashu's promise that she wouldn't harm her own clansmen had been treated as a promise that she wouldn't harm her own clansmen for now. But it was hard to say what would happen in the future. The male ferret was in a dilemma. Was he going to become a sinner of the ferret clan? If they followed this human, it wouldn't be long before the ferret clan was completely wiped out in the divine realm. The male ferret's mind was filled with pain. The more it thought about it, the sadder it became. The expression on its face was almost impossible to hide, and Lung Roashu was baffled. In the end, it was Tsang who was kind enough to tell Lung Roashu what the ferret was thinking. When Lung Roashu heard it, she was a little confused. How did she not know that Beastie's imagination was so rich? However, now wasn't the time for this ferret to let its thoughts run wild. At this thought, Lung Roashu said coldly, "Are you going or not? If you don't want to go, I'll do it myself." "I'll go." The male ferret's face was filled with grief and indignation. Then, it went back into its snow cave. The ferret's cave was like a tunnel. It was basically connected. Therefore, the male ferret could find all of its tribesmen as long as he went down from his home. An hour later, Lung Roashu saw the snow pile in front of her being split open one by one. From within, snow-white ferrets crawled out. When all the ferrets had arrived, Lung Roashu did a rough count and realized that there were very few of them. There were only about 100 of them. At this moment, the ferrets' faces were filled with fear. Looking at their pitiful little appearances, Lung Roashu deeply felt that she was too evil. How could she scare these cute little beasts like this? However, she was also doing this for the good of these little guys. If he followed the white tiger race, he would definitely have no future. He might as well follow her. With this thought, Lung Roashu immediately threw the little guilt in her heart out of the window. Then, like a wolf grandmother, she smiled at the ferrets and said, "Are the ferrets all here?" "Everyone's here," the leader of the Snow Ferret clan said with a long face after hearing Lung Roashu's words. "Very good from now on. You will be my beasts. Lung Ruoxue was straightforward. However, her words had misled the ferrets, causing them to think that they were going to become the humans' captives. So, the moment Lung Ruoxue finished speaking, the ferrets burst into tears. The outcome of being weak. They could only be bullied by humans. This was the only thought in the ferret's mind at this moment. However, what made them even more indignant was that their backer did not dare to stand up for their tribe. This fact made them extremely disappointed, and their cries naturally became louder. This scene made Lung Ruoxue dumbfounded for a moment. Did she say anything? Why are these little guys crying so sadly? Could it be that it was difficult to leave one's homeland? Lung Ruoxue speculated. The more she thought about it, the more she felt that this was possible. However, the place she could provide for these little fellows was definitely several times better and safer than the place they were currently living in. With this thought in mind, Lung Ruoxue shifted all the ferrets in front of her into her bracelet. What about the ferrets? Looking at the ferret that had suddenly disappeared, Jiangning asked with a puzzled expression. I've kept it, Lung Ruoxue said with a smile. Jiangning was speechless. This little girl was truly ruthless. She had actually wiped out the entire ferret tribe. He wondered how the white tiger tribe would react when they found out about this. He was really looking forward to it. Chapter 2337. New Idea 1. Looking at Jiangning's reaction, Lung Ruoxue suddenly had a new idea. She felt that she could capture all the beasts on the Longevity Mountain, except for the white tiger race. This way, she could also remove some of the white tiger race's wings. She just didn't know how the white tiger race would react if they knew her thoughts. However, the more Lung Ruoxue thought about it, the more she felt that her idea was good. Following that, Lung Ruoxue let out a faint smile and whispered to the other 3 humans and 1 beast, I've decided. What? When Jiangning heard these words, he waited for Lung Ruoxue to continue with a face full of questions. However, Lung Ruoxue deliberately kept him in suspense, causing Jiangning to be anxious. It was as if a cat had grown claws in his heart and was scratching at it nonstop. However, the detestable Lung Ruoxue refused to say anything. Schwerer, can you not keep us in suspense? How can you only say half of your words? Are you trying to make me anxious? Jiangning said, a little upset. What I want to say is that I've decided to capture all the beasts here in one fell swoop. Of course, that's with the exception of the white tiger race. Lung Ruoxue finally revealed her plan when she saw how anxious Jiangning was. Oh, why did she like to tease people more and more? However, Jiangning was still not calm enough. The demon and Uncle Long didn't even ask much. However, it was a good thing that Jiangning did not know what Lung Ruoxue was thinking. If he knew that Lung Ruoxue was comparing him to the evildoer and Uncle Long, he would definitely be depressed. Who asked him to know Shui without any parents? That's a good idea, the demon agreed. And Uncle Long also nodded. However, after hearing Lung Ruoxue's words, Jiangning couldn't help but ask, this idea is too crazy. Are you trying to drive the white tiger race mad? Why would I? I'm helping the white tiger race clear the obstacles. Without the other beast races, the white tiger race can monopolize the Longevity Mountain. Therefore, they have to be grateful to me. Otherwise, they'll be considered as ungrateful. Lung Ruoxue said matter-of-factly. The demon and Uncle Long didn't have any reaction to his words, but cold sweat was dripping down Jiangning's back. Oh my God, he didn't hear wrong, did he? By doing this, Shui could also be considered to have done a favor for the white tiger race. And she wanted him to be grateful to her? Was that even possible? The white tiger race was one of the 4 great king divine beast races. They had always been proud and had a high status. You've raided their subordinate beast race, and you still want them to thank you? If the white tiger race was really grateful to Lung Ruoxue, because of this, Jiangning felt that he would look down on them. They were too cowardly, weren't they? Even though Jiangning's heart was already in turmoil, Lung Ruoxue did not give him the chance to let his thoughts run wild. She waved her hand and said, "Let's continue." The next snow rat clan. The little silver rats by her side were very good at gathering information, so Lung Ruoxue reckoned that the snow rats wouldn't be any worse off. Thus, Lung Ruoxue was rather looking forward to seeing those little fellows. Just like that, Lung Ruoxue and the rest took a long detour and went to the snow rat clan first. Thanks at the same time, the ferret clan that had been moved into Lung Ruoxue's bracelet were initially alarmed when they saw that they had been moved to a new place. However, they soon realized that their new home was many times better than their original home. Furthermore, the temperature here was more suitable for the ferret clan to live in. They just did not know where they were. All the ferrets racked their brains, but they still could not figure out where they were. Suddenly, a chubby baby appeared in front of them, and the ferret's eyes widened. "Welcome to your new home," the chubby child, Qingju, said with a smile. "Our new home? This place?" When the snow ferret tribe leader heard this, he asked in disbelief, "Of course. You guys have already been absorbed by my sister. From now on, the white tiger race has nothing to do with you guys anymore. So, you guys just have to listen to my sister, do you understand?" Qingju reminded. However, when the ferrets heard what he said, they were even more confused. "Who's your sister?" The chief of the snow ferret tribe asked carefully. He could already tell that this little kid was not to be trifled with. "It's Lung Ruoxue, the one who sent you all here," Qingju explained. "Arg, isn't it going to sell us?" The snow ferret tribe leader said in shock. "Sell you? How much can you sell your meatless little beast for? Big Sister has brought you guys in here for your own good. Otherwise, when Big Sister deals with the white tiger race in the future, you guys will definitely become cannon fodder. Big Sister has always had a kind heart towards the beasts, so naturally, I can't bear to see you guys being used by the white tiger race. That's why I'm thinking of helping you guys." Qingju told the truth, but he could not guarantee that the ferrets would not believe him. Green Vessel's words caused the ferrets to turn pale with fright. Although they already knew that they wouldn't be sold from the mouth of this little doll in front of them, what caused them to be terrified was that this human woman actually wanted to go against the white tiger race. Wasn't this the rhythm of seeking death? Even though the ferrets were afraid of Lung Ruoxue, they didn't believe that she would dare to cause trouble for the white tiger race. After all, in their hearts, the white tiger race was extremely powerful. Otherwise, the white tiger race wouldn't be known as one of the 4 great king divine beasts of the firmament. At this moment, they had long forgotten that the white tiger race didn't care about the life and death of their own race. They were completely shocked by Qingju's words. Furthermore, they were naive and would never have thought that the white tiger race didn't care about them and didn't want to provoke Lung Ruoxue because they were worried about her. Looking at the group of dumbfounded ferrets, Qingju patted the ferret tribe leader's shoulder and said, "You will live here from now on. When Big Sister's matters are settled, they'll let you all return to the Longevity Mountain. At that time, I'm afraid you won't be willing to leave." Qingju laughed to himself. After he finished speaking, he strode away with his chubby legs. After Green Vessel left, the ferrets were still a little dazed. It took them a while to get used to their new home before they got used to it and settled down here with no qualms. At this moment, Lung Ruoxue had also received Qingju's report. She knew that the little ferrets had settled down. Then, they quickened their pace and walked towards the Snow Rat clan. The Snow Rat clan had always been responsible for the intelligence work of the Longevity Mountain. They were also the first to inform the White Tiger clan of the arrival of Lung Ruoxue and the others. It was only after that the White Tiger clan spies took over their work and continued to monitor Lung Ruoxue and the others' every move. As for the snow rats, they hid in their own caves. However, compared to the ferret's cave, the snow rat's cave was more accessible. Hence, Lung Ruoxue's thoughts could not be hidden from them. However, it was also because of Lung Ruoxue's thoughts and the fact that the ferret clan had been wiped out that they were even more anxious. The Snow Rat King had already reported to the White Tiger race about Lung Ruoxue's plan to wipe out the entire Snow Rat race. However, they had yet to receive any response from the White Tiger race. As Lung Ruoxue and the rest got closer and closer, the snow rats were in a complete mess. Chapter 2338. A New Idea, 2. King, what should we do? Quickly think of a way. That human is about to arrive. The snow rats hiding in the cave wailed, and the Snow Rat King was having a headache. Calm down. All of you calm down. Aren't they just a few humans? What was there to be afraid of? We have the White Tiger race's support. Those humans won't dare to do anything to us. The Snow Rat King tried to comfort them, but the other snow rats did not agree or disagree with what the king said. King, don't lie to us. The White Tiger race didn't react at all to the arrival of these humans. Don't forget what happened to the ferret race. If the White Tiger race wanted to stand up for the ferret race, they would have done so long ago. There wouldn't be no movement now. An old snow rat didn't want to see its king lie to its clansmen like this, so it exposed its king's words without giving it any face. That's right. The White Tiger race wouldn't care about our lives. They will never fight against the humans outside for us. Some of the snow rats supported the elder snow rat's words. Furthermore, as the Snow Rat clan that was responsible for the intelligence work of the Longevity Mountain, they naturally knew Lung Ruoxue better than the other magical beasts. Therefore, they were very clear about the strength of Lung Ruoxue and the others. They also understood the White Tiger King's concerns about not being willing to make an enemy out of them. Of course, those snow rats who had such thoughts would naturally have a high status in the Snow Rat clan. Thus, they would not be deceived by the lies of their king. When the Snow Rat King heard such opposition, it was so angry that it trembled. After a long time, the Snow Rat King roared, "Then what do you guys think we should do?" "King, let's run." A little snow mouse said timidly. "Can you run? Where could he have run to?" The old snow rat said with a disapproving look, "As many of our clansmen as we can run. It's better than all of us becoming the humans' prisoners." The more the little snow mouse spoke, the softer its voice became. In the end, it even lowered its head, not daring to look at its clansmen. Our Snow Rat clan has always relied on the strength of a team to occupy a place in the Longevity Mountain, and even to be valued by the White Tiger race. If only a few of us manage to escape, it would seem that we have preserved the bloodline of the Snow Rat clan, but we would also lose our value to the White Tiger race. Therefore, it doesn't matter to us whether we run or not, unless the White Tiger race reaches out a helping hand to us. Otherwise, we might as well surrender. At least, if our clan is together, it would still be of great use. I'm sure that human can't bear to kill us. The old snow rat said with a shrewd expression. In this regard, it was more far-sighted than the other snow rats. It also knew the advantages of the Snow Rat clan. Therefore, in the situation where the White Tiger clan did not come to rescue them, the only thing they could rely on was their own advantages. This way, they could give the Snow Rat clan a chance to survive. As for the White Tiger race's reinforcements, the old snow rat was well aware that they would not come. Otherwise, the White Tiger race wouldn't have remained silent for such a long time. Although the old snow rat was extremely disappointed by this result, he had already accepted the fact that things had come to this. Staying alive was the most important thing. It didn't matter who they relied on or who their master was. The old snow rat's words made all the snow rats, including the Snow Rat King, lower their heads in deep thought. Finally, after thinking for a long time, the Snow Rat King raised its head with a determined look and said, "Let's surrender." After saying that, the Snow Rat King lowered its head dejectedly. It had let down the Snow Rat clan. Although the Snow Rat clan was not very powerful among the Divine Realm's magical beasts, they had never had a human master. Now, this glorious tradition was going to be destroyed in its hands. Therefore, it was quite depressed and sad. The old snow rat could tell that the Snow Rat King was in a bad mood. He didn't know what to say except to pat its shoulder to comfort it. When Lung Ruoxue and the others arrived at the territory of the Snow Rat clan, they saw the entire clan moving out, as if they were welcoming them. Thanks, Jiangning was extremely surprised by this scene. What was going on? Jiangning's face was filled with question marks. The frowning snow rats didn't look like they were going to fight them. However, what the Snow Rat King said next made Jiangning's jaw drop. "Human, we snow rats surrender." The Snow Rat King took a deep breath and then said on behalf of the other snow rats, "Fuck." When Jiangning heard this, he wanted to curse. What kind of character did that girl have? How could such a thing happen? Although the Snow Rat clan was not very powerful, they were very good at gathering information. Therefore, at this moment, Jiangning was really envious of Lung Ruoxu's luck. Of course, this was under the condition that he had never seen Lung Ruoxu's silver rats. Otherwise, he would be so depressed that he would bang his head against a wall. When Lung Ruoxu heard this, she wasn't too surprised. It was as if she had already expected this. Following that, she nodded and said, "This is a wise choice." Hearing Lung Ruoxu's words, Jiangning had the urge to vomit blood. "You bastard. What did he mean by acting innocent after getting benefits?" This was it. Looking at the faint smile on Lung Ruoxu's face, Jiangning truly felt that she was an eyesore. This was clearly a provocation. However, even though he was a little upset, he also knew that he couldn't be envious of someone's character. This was all a matter of personal luck. It was inborn. With a tinge of envy, jealousy, and hatred, Jiangning looked at Lung Ruoxu with a face full of admiration. In the end, Lung Ruoxu felt a little creeped out. She rolled her eyes at him and ordered the Snow Rat King to recognize its master. After that, Lung Ruoxu and the rest quickly left the territory of the Snow Rat clan. The other snow rats were placed into the bangle by Lung Ruoxu and handed over to Green Vessel to settle down. The Snow Rat King was left outside to lead the way. It was only now that Lung Ruoxu began to carefully observe the Snow Rat King's appearance. The Snow Rat King before her was only half the size of her palm. It was chubby and had a snow-white body. It looked like a small snowball and was rather adorable. With its big, black, watery eyes, it looked at her pitifully. Lung Ruoxu was immediately overwhelmed by its cuteness. Lung Ruoxu poked the Snow Rat King's chubby little body and placed it on her shoulder. She then instructed, "Snow Rat King, take us to the Snow Wolf clan." Lung Ruoxu persevered in carrying out her goal and annihilated all the beasts under the White Tiger race. When the Snow Rat King heard Lung Ruoxu's words, it nodded its head vigorously. In its heart, it was gloating over Lung Ruoxu's misfortune. It seemed like another beast race would be wiped out in one fell swoop on the Longevity Mountain. In an instant, the Snow Rat King's heart was balanced. It felt that having a human master was actually quite good. Moreover, after recognizing a master, it realized that its master had many beasts. As such, the Snow Rat clan that had been forced to surrender did not feel as unwilling anymore. Instead, they accepted Lung Ruoxu as their master with ease. With the Snow Rat King leading the way, Lung Ruoxu and her group soon arrived at the Snow Wolf clan. When they arrived at the Snow Wolf clan, Lung Ruoxu did not waste any time and immediately released the Silver Wolf King to deal with the king of the Snow Wolf clan. Chapter 2339, New Idea 3. The Silver Wolf King stepped out and slapped the Snow Wolf King with its paw. The Snow Wolf King was beaten until it was dizzy. In the end, under the violent abuse of the Silver Wolf King, the Snow Wolf King recognized its master. The Snow Wolf King was not only aggrieved, but he felt even more aggrieved. When he was being beaten up, he had said that he would surrender. However, that detestable Silver Wolf King seemed to have not heard anything and continued to beat him up. In the end, the Silver Wolf King only let it go when it was tired from the beating. Its beautiful white fur was also stained with blood, and it was covered in wounds. However, it could not defeat the Silver Wolf King. Therefore, it could only swallow its anger in silence. When the other snow wolves saw this, they were so scared that they hid away. When the Snow Wolf tribe recognized their master, the Snow Wolves looked at the Silver Wolf King with fear in their eyes. "Master, they're too weak. Leave them to me. They'll teach them a good lesson." The Silver Wolf King's large eyes swept across the Snow Wolves, and the snow wolves began to shiver pitifully again. The Silver Wolf King's words made the snow wolves' hearts tremble even more. They sincerely prayed for their master. "Don't hand us over to it." However, Lung Ruashua turned a deaf ear to the pleading looks of the snow wolves. Instead, she agreed with the Silver Wolf King's opinion and nodded. "Well, do as you say." The snow wolves were not strong enough to fight, and they needed to be trained. Following that, Lung Ruashua moved the Silver Wolf King and the snow wolves into the bangle. The snow wolves then began their painful and devilish training. After taking in the snow wolves, the Snow Rat King was satisfied. Then it asked, "Master, which beast clan should we go next?" Hearing this, Lung Ruachu's forehead was filled with black lines. She thought to herself, "Did I lead the Snow Rat King astray? Or does the Snow Rat King have a tendency to take pleasure in others' misfortune?" This little fellow was much more lively than when it had just recognized him as its master. "Which other beast clans are there?" Lung Ruashu asked after some thought. "Snow Snake Tribe, Snow Rabbit Tribe, Snow Fox Tribe, Snow Leopard Tribe. Only these few." The Snow Rat King reported while counting his fingers. "Let's go to the Snow Leopard Tribe. After subduing the Snow Leopard Tribe, go to the Snow Fox Tribe. As for the Snow Snake Tribe and the Snow Rabbit Tribe, we won't be subduing them. We have to leave a few for the White Tiger Tribe," Lung Ruashua said with a smile. However, her words were met with the contempt of both humans and beasts. They did not believe that Lung Ruashua would have such good intentions. She probably didn't like the Snow Snake and Snow Rabbit clans. Otherwise, she wouldn't let them go. They had to admit that they knew the truth. It was true that Lung Ruashua didn't like snakes and rabbits, so she let them off. She didn't really like snakes. As for those snow rabbits, they were also food in her eyes. If she took in the snow rabbits, what would they eat in the future? Therefore, not all beasts could be accepted. Of course, if she didn't accept the snow snake and snow rabbit, it would go against her original intention. After all, her goal was to capture all the magical beasts other than the white tiger race in one fell swoop. However, thoughts were dead, but people were alive. So, she really didn't think it was a big deal. Naturally, you wouldn't mind too much. Then, everyone continued on their way. Their target this time was the Snow Leopard Tribe. Longevity Mountain was the most suitable place for the beast clans who loved the cold. Hence, the beasts on Longevity Mountain were all the same color as snow. They looked rather beautiful and clean. Lung Ruashua had always liked cute beasts. Hence, she was rather friendly towards these beasts. Of course, this was only if these beasts knew their own limitations. When they arrived at the territory of the Snow Leopard clan, the Snow Leopard King was also like a clan of snow rats waiting for them in the territory. When the Snow Leopard King saw Lung Ruashua and the rest, he did not waste any time and directly said, "Our Snow Leopard clan is willing to acknowledge you as our master. However, you have to treat us better." Hearing this, Lung Ruashua couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. Why do these words sound so awkward? However, Lung Ruashua could not help but ask, "You're really willing to take the initiative to recognize me as your master?" And the Snow Leopard King nodded, his face filled with determination. At this moment, Old Leopard, who was in the house, sent a voice transmission to Lung Ruashua and requested to come out. When Lung Ruashua heard this, she had an idea and brought out Old Leopard. Thanks the moment the Old Leopard came out, Lung Ruashua realized that this Snow Leopard King looked a little similar to the Old Leopard. No wonder when she first saw this Snow Leopard King, it gave her a sense of déjà vu. When the Old Leopard saw the Snow Leopard King, he immediately rushed forward. Just when everyone thought they were going to fight, the two leopards suddenly hugged each other tightly. Ugh! Was this considered the promiscuous love between the two leopards? Feeling everyone's surprised eyes, Old Leopard coughed awkwardly and then introduced with a blushing face, "He's my cousin." Younger cousin? Lung Ruashua had not expected that the Old Leopard had relatives on Longevity Mountain. The Old Leopard had hidden himself well. No wonder he knew so much about Longevity Mountain. My cousin is very familiar with your name, little girl." The Old Leopard glanced at everyone's surprised expressions and continued to speak in embarrassment. Of course, he also often bragged about Lung Ruoxue to his cousin. Otherwise, this cousin of his would not have taken the initiative to surrender when Lung Ruoxue was taking in the Beast clan of the Longevity Mountain. One must know that the Snow Leopard clan was still very powerful in the Longevity Mountain. Hearing this, Lung Ruoxue knew that she did not need to ask why the Snow Leopard King had surrendered so easily. The old leopard's contribution could not be overlooked. After the Snow Leopard King acknowledged the Snow Leopard clan as its master, Lung Ruoxue and the rest headed to the Snow Fox clan without stopping. On the way, the Snow Rat King couldn't help but remind Lung Ruoxue, "Master, the Snow Fox tribe is very powerful and is the second most powerful force on our Longevity Mountain. Therefore, I'm afraid it won't be that easy to subdue them." It doesn't matter. If he couldn't subdue it, he would just kill it directly. Their fur could be made into coats. Lung Ruoxue's voice was bloodthirsty. When the Snow Rat King heard this, its little body could not help but tremble. It could not understand why its master, who had always been very kind, would suddenly become so fierce when facing the Snow Fox tribe. However, the Snow Rat King felt that it was better not to think about things that he could not understand for the time being. Otherwise, it would only tire himself out. With this thought in mind, the Snow Rat King didn't ask any more questions, but led the way honestly. Of course, the news of them heading towards the Snow Fox clan had also reached the White Tiger King's ears. Ever since the White Tiger King received the report from his spies that all the affiliated beast clans of the White Tiger race had been absorbed by Lung Ruoxue, he had been unable to suppress the anger in his heart. However, what was the use of being angry? Could it take the initiative to provoke Lung Ruoxue just because of a few weak beasts? Even though it wanted to maintain the dignity of its race, the thought of Tsang's existence made the White Tiger King immediately shrink back. He didn't dare to provoke the Totoro. Hence, as long as Lung Ruoxue didn't attack the White Tiger race, he could only squint like nothing had happened. He didn't want to take the initiative to send himself to her door and give Lung Ruoxue an excuse to deal with them. Although squinting would cause the prestige of the White Tiger race to be swept to the ground, other than this, he had no other choice. The White Tiger King was so infuriated that his liver was hurting. He had to watch helplessly as Lung Ruoxue brazenly plundered the beasts that belonged to him in the Longevity Mountain. The members of the White Tiger race were even more furious. However, the White Tiger race members who had been ordered by the king and the elders to not take any action did not dare to go against the wishes of their race. Hence, they could only sulk on their own. Of course, Lung Ruoxue didn't pay too much attention to the White Tiger race's thoughts. Hence, she had no idea that the White Tiger race at the peak of the Longevity Mountain was already so angry that they were about to vomit blood because of her actions. They were still on their way to the Snow Fox tribe in a good mood. The Snow Fox tribe's encampment was located halfway up the Longevity Mountain. The terrain was extremely steep. However, with the Snow Rat King leading the way, Lung Ruoxue and the others were extremely safe. They had also avoided all the dangerous areas. This reality made the Snow Fox tribe, who had originally planned to use the favorable conditions of time, location, and people to launch an unexpected attack on Lung Ruoxue and the others, greatly disappointed. Within the Snow Fox tribe's main hall, "Your Majesty, what we do now? Those humans are coming up." An elder of the Snow Fox tribe, who had received the news long ago, looked at his king with a worried expression and asked uneasily, "Since those humans want to die, then let them come." The gigantic Snow Fox King, who was sitting at the head of the table, said calmly after hearing the words of an elder. However, even though it looked very calm on the surface, its heart was already in turmoil. Fuck! His own alliance, the White Tiger race, knew that Lung Ruoxue and the others had come to find trouble. But not only were they unwilling to provide help, they even asked them to think of a way on their own and even suggested for them to leave the Longevity Mountain to hide. You bastard! They were already blocked at the entrance of their house. Could they avoid it? More importantly, with the damned snow rats tip-off, it was impossible for the Snow Fox clan to avoid Lung Ruoxue and the others. Oomph! If it had known that it would be betrayed by the Snow Rat clan today, it would have exterminated those damn rats earlier. If that had happened, there would not have been such a thing today. The Snow Fox King was so regretful that its intestines turned green. The hatred it felt towards Lung Ruashua and the rest was directed towards the snow rats. At this moment, a Snow Fox tribe guard ran into the main hall in a panic and reported loudly, "Your Majesty, Lung Ruashua and the rest have arrived at the entrance of our encampment." What? How'd he do it so quickly? The Snow Fox King and the elders were shocked. The scout had reported that Lung Ruashua was still quite a distance away from the encampment. He didn't expect them to arrive so quickly. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.